Master? Did something happen? Huang Kuan was slightly nervous. This was the first time he saw Wei Xiaobei's face become so serious. Even when he was facing a large group of zombies, he would still wear a carefree smile, which made people feel secure. Let's quickly withdraw. Wei Xiaobei immediately placed Huang Kuan on his shoulder and retreated 10 steps toward the emergency cabinet, shattered the glass to get the hatchet inside and gave it to Huang Kuan. His attention was also focused on his status panel. In the previous battle, even if Wei Xiaobei did not fight as much, he still accumulated 580 evolution points. After all, for Wei Xiaobei, a group of zombies were only a handful of evolution points. If nothing wrong happened, Wei Xiaobei would have even tried to kill more zombies downstairs and earn at least 4,500 points. At this time, Wei Xiaobei could not just leave the evolution points be. His brain quickly chose where he should place these evolution points in order to have a chance of survival. Strength, agility, vitality, intelligence, awareness, charm. My skills. Agility. I should place the evolution points on balance. 16.01, 16.02, 16.03. 16.01, 16.02, 16.03. His evolution points quickly decreased. In just a short amount of time, 400 evolution points were used, increasing his balance from 16 points to 20 points. Buzz. His brain was shaken. Wei Xiaobei immediately felt something warm flow all over his body, and move between his skin and internal organs. This kind of warm flow was different from the qi that he was training in, but it had a slight similarity. However, Wei Xiaobei did not have time to find out the warm flow's secrets. As the warm flow quickly disappeared, Wei Xiaobei felt that his own body and the ground had reached a strange balance. It seemed that as long as he did not want to, he would not fall down. Moreover, a new ability was added. Balance, 20, ground rooting. After closely inspecting it, a brief information appeared in his head. Ground rooting, when balance exceeds 20 points, you will gain this ability. The chances of tripping on flat ground decreases by 10%. When the ground is inclined at less than 45 degrees, you can maintain normal running speed. When the ground is inclined at less than 70 degrees, you can maintain normal walking speed. When the ground is inclined at less than 90 degrees, you can maintain 50% walking speed. This ability does not allow you to move beyond 90-degree angle or the ceiling. What a strong ability! Wei Xiaobei exclaimed within. It was a frightening ability that could allow a person to walk against a wall just under a 90-degree angle. Wei Xiaobei felt that this ability should be called spider crawl. Suddenly, Wei Xiaobei felt a burst of inspiration. If he could properly use this ability, he would be able to fight in mostly any terrain. However, he did not have the time to ponder on this question anymore. He quickly grabbed the hose in the emergency cabinet and ran towards the window. Ah! Huang Kuan's bravery had indeed increased. However, when he saw that Wei Xiaobei, still holding him, was charging out the window and the distance between the window and the ground was more than 30 meters, fear immediately crept in and he shouted out. This distance was, after all, enough to kill a person. Wei Xiaobei frowned, but he did not stop. Clang! Their bodies collided against a mirror, suddenly breaking it and shooting out. Wei Xiaobei was like a bull that charged over a cliff. After charging out for more than 10 meters, they began their descent. Awe! Huang Kuan's mind had blanked out. He simply did not know what was happening. In truth, before Wei Xiaobei broke the window and caused Huang Kuan to scream, more than 10 lickers had already entered building. When these lickers heard the Huang Kuan scream, they immediately charged upwards. For a zombie, the escalators were an obstacle, but for the lickers, it was the same as flat ground. On the corpse-filled escalator, their movement speed did not drop at all. When Wei Xiaobei had shattered the glass, those liquors had already reached the fourth floor and charged towards Wei Xiaobei. At that time, Wei Xiaobei was carrying Huang Kuan with his left hand and holding onto the hose with his right while holding the machete with his mouth. In an instant, the hose was stretched to the limit, leaving Wei Xiaobei hanging in the air. The distance between him and the ground had shrunk to about 20 meters. However, dropping at this distance would only inflict light injuries on Wei Xiaobei, but the impact would probably be a lot more serious on Huang Kuan. Taking the swinging of the hose as an opportunity, Wei Xiaobei relaxed his hand and moved towards a window. His foot was like glue as he stuck onto the mirror and then walked down. Wei Xiaobei did not have any choice. Although his ground rooting ability was strong, he could only walk at half his normal speed in this almost perpendicular wall. It was easy to imagine how slow this was. Naturally, Wei Xiaobei should also rejoice. The buildings inside the dust world were already ruined, so there would be a slight incline on the walls. If the walls were perfectly perpendicular, then he would not be able to walk on them at all. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this time, 3 lickers took the initiative to charge out of the 4th floor. Compared to Wei Xiaobei, who flew out more than 10 meters, the lickers were like they were born on the ceiling. When they moved out, they immediately grasped on the wall and quickly moved towards Wei Xiaobei. Wei Xiaobei cursed. He loosened his foot's hold on the wall, causing his body to fall down. After he dropped to about 7 to 8 meters, he once again stretched out his legs and used his ability to stick himself to the wall. At this time, his distance to the ground was about 10 meters. On the other hand, the leading licker had opened its mouth and shot out its slender tongue like a bullet. Feeling the danger, Wei Xiaobei grabbed his machete and swung it, using his intuition. Bang! A fierce knocking sound echoed. The machete had hit the tongue. A large rebounding force was sent down the machete towards his body. Luckily, Wei Xiaobei's arm strength had already surpassed a normal person. Otherwise, the attack would have sent his machete flying out. The collision had split the tongue in half. Wei Xiaobei took this chance to chop toward the head of the licker, but the tongue had decreased the chopping speed a lot. Elementary power burst. At this time, if the licker did not die, then it would be Wei Xiaobei dying, so he did not hold back at all. His body surged with power, once again increasing the speed of the machete. In an instant, Wei Xiaobei had chopped through the licker's brain. The licker's dead. He loosened his foot again and dropped down. Soon, the 2 other lickers caught up. Wei Xiaobei used his strength to toss out Huang Kuan. At the same time, he threw the machete towards the licker coming from the left and then quickly slapped his waist. Bang! A loud dragon roar-like sound echoed. A white light shot out from Wei Xiaobei's waist and charged towards the licker on Wei Xiaobei's right. The sharp spear had instantly pierced through the licker's brain. On the other hand, the machete that he threw was deflected by the licker's tongue. Huang Kuan, who was tossed to the ground, painfully got up and looked at the window wall. On the wall less than 10 meters from the ground, Wei Xiaobei was holding a great spear from who knows where and fighting a licker, while seemingly being in a disadvantage. Moreover, there were 2 big monsters on the ground that were already dead. Those are lickers. Huang Kuan was able to recognize them at a glance. The lickers were mutated zombies. They possessed great strength and their hands were fast. They were able to leap on roofs and vault over walls. They could even dodge bullets. In reality, Huang Kuan feared this monster the most when he was playing the game. Huang Kuan, let's go. Before Huang Kuan came to his senses, Wei Xiaobei had already killed the last licker. Wei Xiaobei jumped down from the wall and quickly picked up the machete and Huang Kuan while charging towards the plaza. At this time, there were 5 more lickers that came out from the window. They quickly chased them as they moved down. Moreover, there were also 3 lickers that came out from the store's shutter. Wei Xiaobei did not have a problem dealing with 2 lickers. Dealing with 3 lickers would require him to use elementary power burst. But dealing with 8 lickers was already too much. It was much better for them to just kill him in one shot. Wei Xiaobei grabbed on Huang Kuan and ran as the 8 lickers chased after them. At this moment, Huang Kuan had been swayed to the point of vomiting, but he did not dare say anything. While the effects of elementary power burst was still there, Wei Xiaobei's speed was at his peak. In an instant, he had arrived at the plaza. Wei Xiaobei thought about choosing a random direction to run to, but Wei Xiaobei's gaze landed on the building beside the fountain. I'll risk it. Wei Xiaobei ran towards the exceptionally strange building. If Wei Xiaobei was to choose a different road to run, then he needed to be able to outrun the lickers while carrying an extra person. Although the lickers may not have infinite stamina, they definitely had more endurance than Wei Xiaobei. Without even saying it, everyone knew that this was the case. The distance to the strange building was not far. Wei Xiaobei reached the building in just a few breaths' time. However, he did not rashly jump into the building, since that would simply be a suicidal move. If the strange building did not have any effect on the licker, then he would be surrounded once he entered it and then die. If the strange building had an effect on the licker, then the strange footsteps might not remain benevolent towards him. Wei Xiaobei stamped his foot and threw himself to the side of the building without stopping while looking at the lickers behind him. The speed of the lickers behind him did not slow down at all. Seeing this, Wei Xiaobei's eyes squinted and his heartbeat increased in speed, but he did not increase his running speed as if he was waiting for the lickers to catch up to him. In reality, anyone would admire Wei Xiaobei's willpower. Suddenly the speed of the lickers slowly decreased. One of them had even been close to stopping when it lost its balance and rolled forwards like a ball. 10 meters, 9 meters, 5 meters. Without any signs at all, the licker that rolled forwards had lost all signs of life. It lied down on the ground without budging anymore. The lickers that did not have any feeling suddenly stopped and formed a semicircle around the building, distancing themselves around 10 meters away. Wah, what is happening here? Master? Huang Kuan, who had finally been put down, looked at the licker in front of him and asked a question. He looked dumbstruck at the lickers as it did not dare to advance. Starting now, do not speak as much as possible. Wei Xiaobei did not give Huang Kuan an explanation as he seriously instructed him. Huang Kuan followed behind him as they pulled in the dead licker. After inspecting it, Wei Xiaobei shook his head and pulled out the white mist knife. He cut open the licker's head and continued downwards. After a few cuts, the licker had been completely dissected, becoming a pile of stinky ground meat. Seeing this scene, Huang Kuan almost threw up. For a brat like him, this scene was too intense, even though he had just made black blood spray out from the zombie. Naturally, the benefit of seeing this would allow him to be calmer if this happened in the future. After using a tattered cloth to wipe the white mist knife, Wei Xiaobei placed it back on his waist and stood up. He did not have any clues at all as to how the licker died when there were no internal injuries at all. In other words, the licker's death was not caused by injuries, it was as if his life had been extinguished in an instant. Thinking about this, Wei Xiaobei fearfully looked at the building behind him. The licker's death was without a doubt related to the building, or perhaps that mysterious footstep. Being able to kill the licker without any struggle was something Wei Xiaobei could not do even if he was 10 times stronger. What was sarcastic about this was that Wei Xiaobei was relying on this frightening existence to preserve his life. After pondering a bit, the graveness on Wei Xiaobei's face had decreased. Right now, Wei Xiaobei did not have any way to fight against the strange existence, but he did not receive any injuries. Whether because it was his luck or not, there was no point in thinking too much. He could only do things step by step. Although the 7 lickers did not advance, they also did not leave. They only decided to stay there and circled the building, trying to find any holes in the defense. Wei Xiaobei knew that if he left the building, then the lickers would attack him without any hesitation. Thinking about this, Wei Xiaobei signaled to the pale-faced Huang Kun, turned around, and entered the building. The window that Wei Xiaobei opened was still there. After binding the great spear to his waist, he entered through the window. He did not know if it was a psychological effect or it was originally like that. When Wei Xiaobei entered the room, he felt that the room temperature had suddenly decreased. He felt a faint coldness behind him, as if something was looking at him from behind. Wei Xiaobei suddenly turned around and came face to face with Huang Kun, who was about to jump inside, shocking Huang Kun into cry out in fear. "Quiet!" Wei Xiaobei berated him and covered Huang Kun's mouth with his left hand, while his right pulled Huang Kun inside. After Huang Kun came to his senses, he was not scared at all. He cheered when he saw the huge bed. He jumped on it like a fish and comfortably laid there, even slightly snorting like a small pig that had ate its fill. Wei Xiaobei was not content like Huang Kun. He carefully sat on the bedside and listened attentively to the surroundings. This was something that could not be helped. The strange footsteps before had placed a great pressure on him. His mindset was like a child that was afraid of the monster in the closet, but because he needed to change clothes, he still needed to open the closet. Soon, Wei Xiaobei heard a strange wheezing sound from beside him. His body trembled and looked towards the direction of the sound. However, when he saw the origin of the sound, his mouth could not help but twitch. It seemed that Huang Kun had actually fallen asleep, and his wheezing had actually startled Wei Xiaobei. In reality, seeing Huang Kun so sound asleep, he would not have thought that the brat was previously scared and tired. After being startled by Huang Kun's wheezing though, Wei Xiaobei's nervousness had been alleviated. Soon, the wheezing Huang Kun suddenly became slightly transparent on the bed. Could it be that he was about to leave the dust world? Wei Xiaobei was not worried anymore and looked at Huang Kun's body. Soon, Huang Kun's body slowly became more transparent and disappeared in the end. Wei Xiaobei patted the bed and confirmed that Huang Kun was truly gone. He had not felt anything strange with his hands. Huang Kun has already left the dust world. What should I do now? Should I go out and kill those lickers? Wei Xiaobei walked towards the window and looked out. He saw that the lickers had not yet left and were still circling around the building. Moreover, they had increased by 2. Right now, there were 9 lickers watching the building like tigers watching their prey. No matter how reckless Wei Xiaobei was, he did not dare go out. I won't die if I don't court disaster. Wei Xiaobei was not a junior high school student like Huang Kun. As a result, he lied down on his bed after looking outside for a bit longer. He hoped that he could safely leave the dust world. Wei Xiaobei felt his mind become muddled. After losing consciousness, he fell into a deep sleep. Fortunately, the strange footsteps did not appear again. When he woke up, Wei Xiaobei touched his body and confirmed that nothing was missing. When he opened his eyes, he had already returned to reality. The makeup table that he destroyed in the dust world was still in perfect condition. Wei Xiaobei got up from the bed and grabbed the lipstick on the makeup table. He felt that the position of the lipstick was slightly different from before. When he opened it to take a look, the unused lipstick had traces of it being recently used. Wei Xiaobei's hand trembled. The lipstick fell on the table, leaving a red mark. He felt that he must still be half unconscious. How is this possible? There are traces of usage on the lipstick. This might have been normal, but the traces are too fresh. Wei Xiaobei never used lipsticks before, but for lipsticks, leaving it alone for a long time would remove the traces of oxidation. For careless individuals and people without good eyesight, they would not be able to tell the difference, but knowing this was not a problem for Wei Xiaobei. I have probably seen a ghost. Wei Xiaobei took a deep breath and opened the window. It was already autumn. The fresh morning air blew into his room, clearing up his mind. After a bit, Wei Xiaobei threw the string of strange events to the back of his mind and left the bedroom. Good morning, Brother Wei, a crisp female voice sounded. Wei Xiaobei raised his head and saw Zhang Tian. Yeah, morning. Wei Xiaobei did not say anything more. He only nodded his head and walked to the bathroom. At this time, he forgot that there was a bathroom in his room. Breakfast will be ready in a while, Zhang Tian spoke behind him. Ah! An ear-piercing demonic sound came from the bathroom when Wei Xiaobei opened it. Immediately after, a towel was thrown to his face. What's going on? Wei Xiaobei grabbed the towel and his eyes were still dazed. He looked at Li Lanxing who was sitting on the toilet. Li Lanxing held onto her knees. Wei Xiaobei could faintly see her beautiful white legs and slender waist while she blushed. Get out! Perhaps afraid that Zhang Tian would see the scene, Li Lanxing lowered her voice and spoke in panic. Oh, okay. Wei Xiaobei suddenly felt that the strange things that happened no longer mattered. He turned around and closed the door. He even unconsciously sniffed the towel in his hands, which had emitted a sweet fragrance. Was it the flower gel scent or Li Lanxing's scent? It should be a combination of both. Wei Xiaobei wondered if he had been a monk for too long. He could go as far as differentiate the smell on the towel. In reality, Wei Xiaobei really did not understand anything. Brother Wei, come eat breakfast. Why are you holding on to my towel? Zhang Tian suddenly appeared in front of Wei Xiaobei, her eyes dully looked at Wei Xiaobei sniffing her towel. In an instant, Wei Xiaobei's tower started rising up, making Zhang Tian blush. At this time, the bathroom door opened. Wei Xiaobei. Are you courting death? What happened to the both of you? Li Lanxing looked at the two of them and hesitantly asked. It's time for breakfast, let's go eat. Thank you for the towel. Wei Xiaobei stuffed the towel on Zhang Tian's hands and charged to the kitchen like a dog was chasing after him, completely ignoring the two women who were looking at him with wide eyes. The breakfast was quite rich. There was pumpkin congee, egg cakes, salted eggs, red bean curd, and artichoke. The three of them sat on the table and quietly ate. Sigh. It seems that there are a lot of problems in living together. Wei Xiaobei used his peripheral vision to look at the two women. There were some things that he had experienced before, but the problem was that he was not confident in being able to deal with them. Wei Xiaobei's situation was like a soldier who was preparing to enter the front lines so he could not immediately marry, and should also not implicate others in it. I'm full. Breakfast was good. Wei Xiaobei pushed away his bowl and stood up. He wiped his mouth and just when he walked 2 steps, he curiously asked, while living here, did you experience anything strange about this place? Wei Xiaobei originally planned to ask about the strange sound of footsteps, but after experiencing the awkward situation earlier, he stopped. The two women spoke in unison, not at all. I'm good. It seems that he did not need to ask at all. Wei Xiaobei remained silent for a bit and said, don't prepare lunch for me. When he was opened the door and was about to leave, Li Lanxing's voice sounded, stinking brat, are you coming back for dinner? Depends on the situation. I'll make a call when I do. When he just came down the building, Wei Xiaobei called Huang Kun on the phone. Who is it? Don't you know that waking someone from their dreams is similar to killing their parents? A half-conscious sound came from the other side. You still haven't woken up. Wei Xiaobei was a bit speechless. Although the boy appeared to be slightly courageous in the dust world, he was still just a brat. There were many times he was afraid, but after hearing his current voice, it seemed that there was not effect on him at all. This brat truly had the guts. Is this master? Are there any problems? Where do you live? There is something I need to talk to you about. After half an hour, the two of them met in KFC close to Chuihu University. Huang Kun's house was in a close-by district. Seeing Huang Kun stuff hamburgers in his mouth like putting stuffing in a duck, Wei Xiaobei understood why he was so fat. In reality, Wei Xiaobei did not reject high-calorie food like burgers. After all, for a Guoshu expert, training every day would consume large amounts of calories. Moreover, if Wei Xiaobei released electricity, the amount of calories he needed to burn through was much more. However, for a fatty like Huang Kun, this was bad. His movements were originally the same as a normal person. When he was training in the Qing clan dojo, things wouldn't have been as serious. But now that school has started and he was still eating like this, it would not take long for Huang Kun's body to bloat up like a balloon. Master. I am stronger and faster now. Humph, Humo. In the next gym class, I will show those people how amazing this invincible fatty is. Huang Kun did not stop moving his mouth from start to end. He could even boast with food inside his mouth. Wei Xiaobei did not know whether to laugh or cry. Although Huang Kun appeared as if his dreams had come true, he still showed the cuteness of a junior high schooler. Enough. Tell me about the situation when you returned. Wei Xiaobei used his finger to tap the table and asked. Huang Kun looked at his master and became serious. He did not randomly speak anymore and placed down his burger. Then he sneakily looked left and right as if he was an undercover secret agent and spoke in a low voice. In reality, when Huang Kun left the dust world, nothing special happened. The only troublesome thing was that he had missed his meal time and got scolded by his mother. Afterwards, he fell asleep again until Wei Xiaobei had called him. What do you plan to do in the future? Wei Xiaobei hesitated and pointed it out. After all, compared to him, Huang Kun was but a child. Although he had potential and a good temperament, Wei Xiaobei did not have the heart to ask him whether he wanted to go for a stroll in a place like the dust world. It was too dangerous. I will follow Master. I will not study anymore in the future and follow Master and kill our way into the dust world. When he said this, Huang Kun was very excited. His eyes longed for the future ahead as if he had already gained the power to shake the dust world. Wei Xiaobei was speechless. He truly did not understand a junior high schooler's thoughts. If it were other people, majority would have chosen safety rather than danger. This was the most normal and simple choice. However, a junior high schooler was different. They were passionate, impulsive, and never thought over anything properly. After a bit of persuasion, threat, and intimidation, Huang Kun returned to normal and promised Wei Xiaobei that he would go to school. Moreover, Wei Xiaobei could only bring him to the dust world once a week. In reality, Wei Xiaobei did not know if they could replicate Huang Kun's way of entering the dust world through playing games. If Huang Kun could not enter the dust world again, then that was also a good thing for Wei Xiaobei. You should go back home and do your homework. Wei Xiaobei did not stay anymore. He threw down these words and left. Huang Kun had no choice but to behavingly return home. As for any thoughts of entering the dust world, although he had the guts, passion, and impulse, he did not dare put it into action. After all, he had previously been chased by the zombies while running away in terror, so it had created a small fear within him. If he just waited another week, Wei Xiaobei would bring him in so he could safely kill monsters. If he secretly entered, he might just die. Huang Kun understood the benefits and harms of this. After hailing a cab, Wei Xiaobei hurried into the apartment building. He wanted to see the situation in the apartment building. It was not that he did not have anything to do nor because he was worried about the demolition work that was happening. But it was because the pressure from the co-renting situation was too heavy for him. The strange footsteps would appear in his mind from time to time. Although Wei Xiaobei knew that this was just a delusion from heavy stress, it had accumulated for long enough that he was suffering from it. Additionally, if it was possible, Wei Xiaobei prepared to enter the dust world from the apartment building before the demolition began. This way, he would feel a bit more secure and alleviate the stress that had piled up. He also wanted to find the relationship between the place he was currently renting and the apartment building. However, Wei Xiaobei did not know what the apartment building currently looked like, so he needed to check the current situation. When he arrived, he observed the surroundings and saw groups of people moving out. The perimeter walls were covered in red demolition words. A few courtyards that had been completely vacated were already sealed with red tape, and iron chains had stopped the gates from opening. "Bro, give me a cigarette." After walking a few steps, his eyes shined when he saw a few Dahao real estate employees that were chaining the courtyard doors. Wei Xiaobei immediately bought a pack of cigarettes and pulled the person. Being suddenly pulled, the person was not able to resist at all and screamed. However, his mouth was immediately sealed by the cigarette. "You, what are you doing?" The man was around 30 years old, thin and average height. From a single glance, it was easy to tell that he had just arrived at Chuehu City. When he saw the tall and sturdy Wei Xiaobei, he became slightly nervous. "I used to live here, and I just want to ask a question. When are you going to begin the demolition work? I still haven't received my money yet." Wei Xiaobei spoke ambiguously, making the person think that Wei Xiaobei was afraid that he would not receive the demolition money. "No problem. At most we would begin the demolition in a week. The remaining money would be directly placed on your account." It seems that the employees had been properly trained. Even a new employee could say things clear and logically. After thanking the employee, Wei Xiaobei left and arrived at a noodle stand. He asked for a bowl of noodles and 2 salted eggs. After waiting for the noodles to be cooked, Wei Xiaobei's brain was moving. At most a week was left. This meant that he needed to seize the moment since he could only enter the dust world up to 6 times. However, the negative state of mind that accumulated from massacring enemies in the dust world could not just disappear in a day. This was also why Wei Xiaobei did not just enter the dust world every day. After all, Wei Xiaobei was not a robot. If the place began the demolition, he would have no way of entering the dust world from the same place anymore. Thinking about this, Wei Xiaobei was slightly depressed. What other methods could I use? With Wei Xiaobei's intelligence, he thought up of a lot of methods, but most of them were either unreasonable or unreliable. For example, with his strength, he could just threaten the boss of the Dahao group to stop his demolition plans. Another would be to cause trouble when the demolition was beginning to make the other party give up their plans. If Wei Xiaobei followed these plans, there was a chance of success, but the success would not last long. Wei Xiaobei had been someone who previously worked for the Dahao group before. Wei Xiaobei had also seen Wan Dahao before when he was inspecting the company. Wan Dahao could be described as having a resolute disposition. Every decision of his was swift and decisive to the point that it did not allow anyone else to interfere. If a person like this was placed during wartime in the past, this person would have been a formidable character. Usually, a person like Wan Dahao would not change his mind even at knife point. The most annoying thing was that the financial capacity of the Dahao group was immense. Even though the Dahao group did not stir up trouble in Chuehu City, they were still in high demand whether it was the light side of society or the dark side. According to rumors, Wan Dahao was born in the dark side and then climbed ashore the white side, but at present, he was still hiding his power underground without anyone knowing. In reality, the Lulan club that Wei Xiaobei visited had proved it. There was an underground fighting arena, and the security guards were holding stun batons. A few crucial places were even protected by guards with stun guns. As for real firearms, Wei Xiaobei was still unsure of its use. In short, if Wei Xiaobei implemented his plan, then he needed to lay bare his objective. Even if the apartment building was preserved, the next events would be much more troublesome. For a person like Wan Dahao, being humiliated like that would require blood to be spilled. Although Wei Xiaobei was not afraid of Wan Dahao's revenge, he still had his principles. Moreover, no matter how strong his martial arts were, they were no match against guns. Thinking about his situation, Wei Xiaobei shook his head and ate his noodles. Wei Xiaobei did not want to cause trouble, but trouble wanted to find him. Help! Someone died. There's a lunatic. When Wei Xiaobei had just swallowed a salted egg and ate half the noodles when he suddenly heard a terrified cry for help from afar. Soon after, a few people ran over from the nearby courtyard. Their expression were filled with alarm and extreme panic. Among the people running were tenants, landlords, and even Dahao employees. However, their only action was to run. Everything behind them was chaos. A person with tattered clothes was pulling another person down and then bit on the other person's neck, trying to tear it apart. On the side, there was a person with a wooden stick who was confronting a few people. Naturally, the person was only defending himself one-sidedly. After a few seconds, the other people pounced onto his body and sent the wooden stick away. The entire place was filled with chaos and blood. Zombie. Wei Xiaobei's back was drenched in cold sweat as his hairs stood on ends. What is going on? The zombies from the dust world appeared in reality. In an instant, Wei Xiaobei's brain quickly worked. Should I go save people? Or quietly leave? Since he did not know if there were any hidden monitors, Wei Xiaobei was hesitant. After all, even a Guoshu expert would not be willing to expose one of the country's greatest killing power to their surroundings. It was not because he was afraid of getting caught in camera after doing bad things, but because of a natural sense of unease that haunted him. Help! The sound of a woman and a child came from within the courtyard. However, after spitting out a single word, they stopped. It was clear that normal people could not harm these zombies that were not afraid of getting injured. Moreover, the sudden situation had probably terrified them to the point that they lost all strength in their body. Wei Xiaobei tightly grasped the chopstick in his hand and broke it to pieces. He could not look on anymore. Although Wei Xiaobei was not a saint, he still had his principles. He grabbed the stool he was sitting on and placed 50 yuan on the table. Then he spoke to the owner of the stall, "Let me borrow this stool." Before he finished speaking, Wei Xiaobei moved like a monkey through the sea of people. He quickly ran towards the constant sound of "help" in front of him. Because the machete was a bit long, it was not convenient to bring. As a result, Wei Xiaobei had left it inside his new home. Moreover, the great spear on his waist was too eye-grabbing, so he did not want to use it. On the contrary, the stool was around 1.8 meters long. The wood was thick so it was usable. Help! A young woman riding an electric scooter was cruising through the crowd of zombies. She did not stop accelerating after witnessing the scene of carnage. In the end, due to the speed of the scooter, the zombies were not able to catch her. However, she just had to make a mistake. When she rode out of the crowd of zombies, the scooter hit the wall ahead of her and threw her off. Unfortunately, the zombies were attracted to the sound she caused and chased after her. This had startled her as she shouted for help, but she did not even try to escape by herself. The movement of the zombies was slow. It was a bit slower than the zombies Wei Xiaobei encountered in Chuihu University. If the woman had gotten up herself and limped away, she would have been able to escape. However, that was impossible. For a normal woman, crying out for help was already not a bad thing when they encountered something that terrifying which should only be happening in movies. Whoosh! A zombie that was grabbing toward the woman had suddenly been hit on the head by a wooden stool. Black brain juice came seeping out, and the zombie collapsed on the ground. The woman was truly weak. Seeing Wei Xiaobei smash the head of the zombie, she actually fainted from fright. This made Wei Xiaobei bitterly smile and shook his head. Then he struck another zombie in the head. In reality, the number of zombies on the streets was only a few. There were 20 of them in total, but they were not afraid of being injured at all. Their method of attacking was also quite unrestrained, which caused fear in others. The people nearby finally came to their senses. When they saw Wei Xiaobei strike the zombies down, a few braver people who had chivalrous hearts also joined the fray. At this time, the people who had seen the movie knew what was happening. They knew that it was real zombies attacking them. A minority of them still thought that the zombies were lunatics that broke out from a mental hospital. They tried to persuade the chivalrous people to not break the law. After all, lunatics still had the right to live. Under the combined efforts of the group of people, all the zombies in the streets had been knocked down, while some had been killed. Those that had their limbs broken were still struggling on the ground. When Wei Xiaobei saw that the group of people had control of the situation, he jumped over a wall and checked on the situation in every courtyard. Some courtyards were unscathed. The tenants inside even nervously guarded the doors of their homes with various tools. Some courtyards only had corpses left in them and zombies that were tearing at them. Wei Xiaobei did not care if the corpses might turn into zombies or not, but he killed every zombie that he encountered. The number of zombies inside the courtyards had slightly exceeded the amount outside, but because the area was separated into a few courtyards, killing them was effortless. After killing all the zombies, Wei Xiaobei threw away the wooden stool and took advantage of the chaos to escape. If he continued to stay there, the police would arrive, and he would not be able to walk away easily. Wei Xiaobei did not want to become some kind of public figure. As for the question of the zombie virus proliferation, he felt that the chivalrous people would be able to deal with it. When he left the place, he saw that a few robust individuals were tying up the injured people. He thanked the zombie culture that had spread through the dissemination of the movies. Otherwise, how would the people know that human beings who had been bitten might turn into zombies? Wei Xiaobei walked to the Qing clan dojo with a heavy heart. Although Wei Xiaobei had earned evolution points from the invading zombies that suddenly appeared, an alarm had been raised within his mind, especially after he designated reality as a secure place. It seemed that the relationship between the dust world and reality was not as distant as Wei Xiaobei thought it was. This time the zombies appeared. Then, what would appear next? Green dwarfs? Mutated mice? Sacred beetles? Or maybe the big tree spirit? In short, Wei Xiaobei saw that any monster in the dust world could appear in reality and cause mass terror. This was the unfortunate trait about humans. Their mental defenses were poor. It was to the extent that a small amount of information could already cause mass panic. Naturally, if the monsters of the dust world appeared en masse, reality would not be a safe place anymore. Just the liquor was enough to destroy the army when it appeared in the big city. After returning to the dojo, his master and third senior apprentice brother had not yet returned. When his big senior apprentice brother saw him, he explained a few matters and let Wei Xiaobei guard the dojo. He himself carried a large bag of things to go visit little senior apprentice sister in Chuihu University. When his big senior apprentice brother left, Wei Xiaobei stood on the practice grounds and calmed down his mental state. Then, he trained his qi. After opening the next path, Wei Xiaobei returned to his room, took a bath, laid down on his bed, and inspected his evolution points. The zombies that he had killed in the dust world and the apartment street had increased the number of his evolution points to 1030 points. Although this was not the most evolution points he had earned, 1030 evolution points was still a lot. Without a doubt, power would be the key to preserve his life for whatever happens next. At the present time, Wei Xiaobei had a lot of people he wanted to protect, such as his parents, his siblings, his master, his apprentice siblings, and others. Naturally, the most important people to him were his parents and siblings. He pushed these distracting thoughts to the back of his head. Wei Xiaobei carefully calculated to himself. Without a doubt, being conservative with his points was already pointless now. Moreover, if his power increased, the sub-attributes would reach 20 points, which would allow him to gain a special ability that would greatly help him to preserve his life. For example, the elementary power burst after increasing his muscle attribute would increase his power by 2 folds in a short amount of time. Naturally, this kind of reckless increase had cost him and caused injuries to his muscles. The only solution to this was increasing his sturdiness. Sturdiness was also counted as the body's power. As for the ground-rooting ability that he gained after increasing his balance, it was a strategic type ability. It allowed Wei Xiaobei to walk on walls as long as the inclination did not go beyond 90 degrees. If the inclination did not exceed 45 degrees, then he could even run. His health attributes elementary regeneration need not even be mentioned. It had allowed his body to recover 5 times faster. After considering a bit, Wei Xiaobei focused on endurance. Endurance was the body's ability to persevere and also the body's stamina. The stronger the endurance was, the more he could continue fighting and battle against more enemies. Now that zombies appeared in reality, encountering large groups of zombies both in reality and in the dust world was possible. There might even be other monsters that would become involved. At that time, the endurance was an important attribute. After concentrating on it, his evolution points quickly decreased. 14.07, 14.08, 14.09. When his endurance reached 20 points, Wei Xiaobei felt his muscles wiggle just like when he increased the muscle attribute to 20. However, the pain was much lesser. A warm feeling immediately spread throughout his muscles and bones. Wei Xiaobei did not sweat at all. When the strange feeling disappeared, the tiredness he was feeling had completely disappeared as if he had slept and woke up naturally. The feeling he felt was like bathing in a hot spring that relaxed his body. Wei Xiaobei once again looked at his status panel. At this time, a new ability appeared in his status panel. Endurance, 20, Energy Recovery. As Wei Xiaobei inspected this ability, a brief description appeared in his mind. Energy Recovery, Passive Ability. Increases stamina recovery speed and mental fatigue recovery speed. Wei Xiaobei could not help but smile at the description. His ground-rooting ability had allowed him to widen his available strategies. The number of places he could go to and dodge to had increased. This new ability on the other hand guaranteed his battle logistics. First, this ability was different from active abilities like elementary power burst and ground rooting. It was a passive ability like elementary regeneration. As long as he had the ability, it would continue to be active. Naturally, Wei Xiaobei felt that this ability also needed nutritional support. If there was no food to supply the body with energy, then this ability might become unusable. Additionally, this ability did not only increase his stamina recovery speed, but it had also increased the speed at which he was able to get rid of fatigue. From his point of view, this was equivalent to decreasing the cooldown he had in entering the dust world. Moreover, he could also increase his time in training his qi and opening more channels. Wei Xiaobei felt that something was different when he gained this ability. He was very satisfied, but he immediately noticed something on his status panel that made him enter a daze. His creature rank had unknowingly increased. Creature rank, 2-star, any main attribute increases to 20 points. Obtained ability, Elementary Intimidation. Without a doubt, when his vitality had exceeded 20 points, his creature rank increased. Wei Xiaobei had not paid any attention to his creature rank for a long time already. This time, he had gained a small surprise. At this moment, he had obtained the ability, Elementary Intimidation. Wei Xiaobei had noticed that this ability was located under special skills. Moreover, there was even an explanation. Elementary Intimidation, when facing a creature below 2-star that is the same race as the user, the creature would be afflicted with negative statuses of fear, reverence, panic, etc. Any afflicted creature would run away, stop advancing, worship, etc. This special ability was not bad. Although it could only be used on the same race of the user, which means humans, it was an extra harvest. I should try this ability sometime to see its effects. Wei Xiaobei became happy, but the remaining 436 evolution points placed him into deep contemplation. If it was something battle-related, then placing them in any of the sub-attributes under agility would be better. The 3 remaining sub-attributes under agility that were not 20 points were at 16 points. He could instantly increase any of them to 20 points and gain another special ability. The problem was that Wei Xiaobei wanted to put them into a sub-attribute of awareness. Among them, intuition was the most important. While they were in the Chuehu department store in the Dust World, if his intuition did not alert him of danger, then he would not have been able to react to the liquors that fast. He might have even become a corpse on the 4th floor. It goes without saying that having an ability that could warn him of nearby enemies was important in the Dust World. The problem was that his intuition was at 11 points. If he placed his evolution points there, it would not reach 20 points. This was Wei Xiaobei's dilemma. In the end, his evolution points was not enough. Wei Xiaobei sighed. In the end, he still decided to put them in intuition. Although his intuition could not instantly be increased to 20 points, increasing it would still enhance the accuracy of his intuition. At the very least, it would allow Wei Xiaobei to detect danger at an earlier time. After using up his evolution points until only 6 points remained, his intuition increased to 18.3 points, and his awareness attribute increased to 15.56 points. In reality, Wei Xiaobei wanted to go into the Dust World and take a look. He wanted to find out why zombies appeared in reality. However, since he had agreed to guard the dojo, he could not break the promise. What should I do for the time being? Wei Xiaobei turned on his computer and looked at materials and information concerning zombies. He felt that the information that he previously looked up were mostly related to legends and myths. The monsters in the Dust World that appeared were not only from legends and myths. He decided to look up zombies and a few web novels, especially those influential novels. Other than that were games and popular folklores. Wei Xiaobei was not an idiot. The zombies that appeared in the Dust World seemed to have a mysterious connection with the Resident Evil movies. Connecting that with losing consciousness to enter the Dust World, Wei Xiaobei had a 50% hunch. The relationship between the Dust World and reality might have something to do with human activity. Naturally, Wei Xiaobei could not fully confirm this at the moment. The zombies seemed to have a close connection with the movies, but it was also possible that the zombies in the Dust World existed before the movies. He still needed to slowly examine the cause of this situation. There were a lot of information on the internet. There were also a lot of movies about zombies. Wei Xiaobei even watched few of them one by one, but he ended up only looking at the description of the movies due to the length of the films. Watching movies wastes too much time. The other source of information that Wei Xiao used was web novels that had a huge impact. Wei Xiaobei did not have time to look at them right now, so he saved them onto his phone. He would look at them once he had more time. When his big senior apprentice brother made a phone call asking him to open the door, he looked at the time and saw that it was already 7 o'clock. After opening the door, the habitually silent big senior apprentice brother suddenly pulled Wei Xiaobei into his room. He turned on his computer. It seemed that his big senior apprentice brother also used a computer, but all his searches were Guoshu forums, Bajiquan forums and other martial art forums. After opening the web page, his big senior apprentice brother opened the Chuehu City Forum and opened the top post. Wei Xiaobei looked at the title, Zombies Appeared in the Suburbs. Chivalrous Heroes Offered Justice. Upon opening, there were a few fuzzy pictures inside. In the picture, there was someone using a wooden stool attacking the zombies. The images should have been taken with a low-pixel phone, but people who were familiar with him would know that the person in the picture was Wei Xiaobei. Is this you? Although his big senior apprentice brother doubtfully asked, his face did not have any doubts. It was clear that he had already recognized Wei Xiaobei. Ah! That is me. I could not hold back anymore when I saw those zombies kill people. Wei Xiaobei did not hide anything. After all, with his big senior apprentice brother's personality, he knew that he would not sell him out. Why didn't you tell me when you returned? His big senior apprentice brother did not plan to let Wei Xiaobei answer at all and continued, "The problems now are much more troublesome." Troublesome? Wei Xiaobei felt that his mind had not caught up. No matter what was said, he was just bravely standing up for the truth. Although he did not leave his name behind, the enemy in front of him was a group zombies. How could he just look away from them and let them kill people? Am I in trouble? How do I say this? My friend is a forensics investigator. He just happened to join the zombie dissection and testing. There was no zombie virus found in the zombie corpses. These words made Wei Xiaobei slightly faint. The zombies did not have a zombie virus. The problem seems to have escalated. If that was the case, how did the zombies spread the virus and increase the size of their group? Wei Xiaobei stared at his big senior apprentice brother as if he wanted to see if he was joking with him. Wei Xiaobei understood the problem here. If the zombies were not identified as zombies, then it would really be very troublesome. Although the zombies themselves could not just identify themselves, and perhaps their real identities would never be confirmed, they could still move. According to the law, these zombies were at most mental disorder patients. He himself had killed more than 10 zombies. In the eyes of the police that failed to understand anything, he might become a suspect for mass murder. What kind of response would the police give if they found out a Guoshu expert had killed people? The first thing they would do was capture him, lock him behind bars, and carefully investigate. If a plane was to deviate from its flight path and about to hit some capital city, then a warning was useless. Whether it was a hijacking, the pilot's brain spasming, or even an apparatus error, they would be met with a cruise missile and be blown up into beautiful fireworks. No one could bear having their capital become a tragic state. Moreover, Wei Xiaobei's situation was like that. If the police wanted to be at ease, then he must obediently go have a cup of tea with them and wait for the results that might or might not come out. Wei Xiaobei almost jumped up, "Big senior apprentice brother, those zombies bit people to death. There should be remains of the virus on the corpses. Moreover, the zombies are also considered murderers." His big senior apprentice brother heavily shook his head. There was not virus found on the body of the corpses. Moreover, even if they killed people, you killed more in a single span of time. Who would be relieved to see you walk around freely? Wei Xiaobei cursed. Right now, Wei Xiaobei felt like he was a framed youth who tried to help an old woman. There was simply no one that could be found as a suspect. If they truly wanted a criminal ring leader, then they could only point to Wei Xiaobei. If he did not go up and help people, then how could this all happen? After only half a day, he had suddenly become a murder suspect. "Junior apprentice brother, I have already called master. He will try to rush back through the night. If there are any problems, master will personally step forward." His big senior apprentice brother tried to think of a way to ease his heart. Wei Xiaobei thought for a bit. Since things were already like this, if he were to go and say his side of the story, no one would probably believe him. If he truly went to the police, then he would probably be unable to leave for a short period of time. Luckily, it was only his back that was photographed and there were no surveillance cameras that were recording. The difficulty of finding him with just the fuzzy image would be hard. Thinking about this, Wei Xiaobei was slightly relieved. If it were not out of necessity, he would also not be willing to become a murder suspect. Moreover, he did not want this matter to be sent back to his old home. He was afraid of shaming his own family after the countryside people would eventually hear various rumors about him. In China, reputation was very important. If a person's reputation became bad, others would not be able to actually harm you, but they would point their fingers at you until they suffocate you to death. "Look, the murderer of the Wei family has returned." Thinking about this kind of rumors, Wei Xiaobei's back shivered. He felt even more unwell than when he encountered the citizen of Longbo. Luckily, Wei Xiaobei's willpower was steady. Even if something like this happened, he was able to calm down after training his qi. At 2 in the morning, his master and his third senior apprentice brother rushed home. After understanding the details of the situation, Cheng Baiwu waved his hand and smiled, "It's all right." No matter what was said, Xiao Bei could be seen as standing up for the truth. Even if it was excessive self-defense, no one has come to find him yet, right? Wei Xiao Bei's face turned into. Must I wait for someone to find me before it becomes a problem? Seeing Wei Xiao Bei's face, Cheng Baiwu laughed out loud. However, in this period of time, you must go out less. The best thing would be to find a place to stay low. Remember, if anyone finds you, do not admit anything. After Cheng Baiwu finished, he stared at his two disciples. Seeing the master's gaze, Lu Jiangcheng and Yao Wu immediately understood and patted their junior's chest while saying that they wouldn't sell him out. After, Cheng Baiwu talked to Wei Xiao Bei again, stressing for him to not go make any information public, even if it was with his second senior apprentice brother. He should also temporarily keep it a secret from Cheng Cc. Hearing his master's warning, Wei Xiao Bei felt slightly moved. In the current society that had been hit by the tides of economy, finding a master that properly took care of their disciples was hard to find. Watching the news a few days ago, there was some master that had even killed their disciple due to monetary benefits. Wei Xiao Bei returned to his room and pondered for a bit. He could not go back to the apartment building. The police might be looking for him, so going there would just be delivering the goods to their front door. Moreover, at his new place, even the thought of the strange footspurs was still making Wei Xiao Bei tremble. It was not that his willpower was weak, but rather, this was just the nature of a human who was helpless in their situation. Humans would all have an innate fear against something that they could not understand. Especially when Wei Xiao Bei's power was currently not invincible. Although, he knew that he had already exceeded the limit of most people, he could still not find the origins of the footsteps, giving him a headache. After sleeping, Wei Xiao Bei decided to return back to his new home after giving his regards to his master. When he arrived, the two women hadn't yet woken up since it was a Sunday. For a white-collar worker, today was their hard-earned day of rest. Wei Xiao Bei immediately called Huang Kuan. He originally planned to call Huang Kuan over and tell him to bring over a notebook with him to help him understand the details of the dust world. However, what he never expected was that Huang Kuan was suddenly brought to join a cram school by his mother. Although he had entered the dust world once and had an increase in strength and agility, he was still not at the level of his mother. Without any choice, Wei Xiao Bei could only lock the door and drink the liquor in his room. Then he fell asleep. Murderer! Murderer! I can't live anymore, you need to compensate me. Right, pay up. If you don't pay, we will never let you go. Chaotic noise sounded, waking Wei Xiao Bei up from his sleep. What's happening? Wei Xiao Bei got up from the bed and wore his backpack. He grabbed the machete and moved in front of window. As his gaze scanned past the fountain, Wei Xiao Bei's sight became dull. In the downtown square, a group of people had formed two circles, surrounding a zombie. Naturally, this was not too serious of a situation. After all, there was only one zombie and there were many people. The problem was the 3 women and 5 men in the inner circle. There was a woman lying on the ground. 2 women had grabbed the zombie on the hair and on the head. The 5 men were surrounding the zombie and shouting. The outer circle was made up of more than 20 people. There were more men than women, forming a loose circle. Seeing the liveliness, there were many spectators looking at the scene excitedly. Some had even brought out their phones and took pictures, preparing to send them out through their WeChat. What is actually happening here? Wei Xiao Bei jumped out the window and strode forward. When he was charging ahead, he sized up the people in front of him a few times, and saw that these people were not monsters from the dust world. From their clothes, it appeared that they were people who had accidentally stumbled into the dust world. The only thing was that he did not know where they came from. Was it Chuihu City, or another city? Where did you people come from? Wei Xiao Bei raised his machete as he walked forward. When the people in the outer circle saw him, they quickly opened a path and looked at Wei Xiaobei in fright. Wei Xiaobei was a bit suspicious, but he immediately understood that this was caused by his special skill elementary intimidation. Following Wei Xiaobei's shout, everyone looked at Wei Xiaobei with the same fearful expression. The men looked at each other in the eyes and nodded at each other. One of the men walked out the circle to face Wei Xiaobei. He hesitantly asked while looking like he was prepared to turn around and run for his life. You are crafty looking. Wei Xiaobei cast at him a glance and made a conclusion that these people were not good people. I am the manager here. Wei Xiaobei would never think of giving these kinds of people any face. When he opened his mouth, he immediately hopped to place himself in a high position. He had made out that these people simply did not notice what kind of place this was. As he spoke, he did not even worry about threatening them, especially in the case that they would bring him trouble later. If it were not because these people had appeared in the downtown plaza and were close to his building, Wei Xiaobei would not even pay attention to them. Seeing this trend, Wei Xiaobei guessed that the people entering the dust world would increase in the future. Could it be that I have to be their babysitter? Are you the leader? Right, please give us justice. This person bit some people and even scratched us. Our demands are not high. 500,000 yuan is enough. Just 500,000. Hearing that Wei Xiaobei was the manager, the ones in the inner circle immediately threw themselves on the ground and kneeled towards Wei Xiaobei. Even the woman lying on the ground, who Wei Xiaobei thought was dead, also crawled over. If Wei Xiaobei did not quickly dodge them, then his leg might have been hugged. In reality, Wei Xiaobei became lifeless after seeing this scene. These undisguised scammers actually tried to fight against a zombie. There's something wrong with this situation. That is a zombie. Does a zombie even have money to pay you? No matter what was said, Wei Xiaobei felt so angry it was as if his head was about to discharge fumes. Okay. Do what you want. Wei Xiaobei felt that if he communicated with these people too much he might be unable to endure and just blow off their heads. It was because of these people that society's values had reached the bottom line. If Wei Xiaobei did not think that these people would not live long in the dust world, Wei Xiaobei would have impulsively helped the heavens get rid of them. Leader. Leader. You are the leader, you must give us justice. Seeing Wei Xiaobei did not move, the scammers became more daring and shouted. They were too used to using these methods. If it was just one scammer, then calling the police over would be game over for them. But they were different. They were a group of 8 people. Even if the local police was dispatched, they would use scum-like techniques to more or less press the victim for money. After all, most of the time, these matters were difficult to understand thoroughly, especially in places without cameras. Moreover, because there were a lot of them, the local police that would be sent to deal with them would have no choice but to ask for a compromise with the victim. The Chinese people. A majority of them had the mindset of, the less complications, the better. As a result, these scammers would succeed over and over again. Even if they would occasionally lose, they would only be locked in prison for 2 days. Compared to their income, this was not a big deal at all. Get lost. Wei Xiaobei started getting really annoyed by these people. Wei Xiaobei even had the thought of never falling in love ever again, when he saw the woman in her 30s, who bared her yellowing teeth, try to hug him. He swung his machete towards the zombie that was pinned down by the 2 women. As the blade flashed, the head of the zombie flew away. This scene startled the scammers. After quite a while, someone among the observers that were taking pictures immediately let out an ear-piercing scream. What are you shouting for? I will cut down whoever shouts. Wei Xiaobei would not polite anymore, even if the woman who was screaming somehow became prettier or grew nice curves, he had enough. The scream immediately stopped. The woman was startled to the point that she could not stop screaming, but her boyfriend beside her covered her mouth. In their eyes, Wei Xiaobei was simply like a butcher. He drew out his blade and immediately chopped the lunatic's head off. For them, listening to him was the better option. As for escaping, there were only 3 of them who were brave enough to do so. As for the others, even if they wanted to run, their legs had already weakened after they got their timing wrong. Wei Xiaobei swept a glance over everyone, making them feel a sense of fear that they could never escape from. You might think that you are dreaming or in an entertainment program, but let me tell you that you can die here. Wei Xiaobei's words made everyone look at each other. They did not know if they should believe him or not. Previously, their attention had been taken away by the scammers and the zombies' performance. Adding to the fact that they had just entered the dust world, they had been influenced by the situation and simply did not pay attention to what kind of place they were in. Now that they had observed things, they felt that something was wrong. Everything in the place was covered by layers of dust. Even the plaza was full of holes as if the place had not been maintained for years. People who had better eyesight could even see that some buildings were in ruins. Moreover, when they looked at the building that Wei Xiaobei came from, they felt that it was very strange. After observing everything around them, whether it was the observers or the scammers, they finally realized the problem that they had appeared in such a strange place. After Wei Xiaobei showed his strength, he began asking them questions. Huang Kuan roughly knew how he was able to enter the dust world, but these people who had just entered did not even remember the process of how they arrived. They only remembered that they were sleeping at home and then appeared here in the next moment. If Wei Xiaobei did not warn them, they would not have sensed the strangeness of the place and would have still moved and acted as if they were in a dream. At this time, these people finally came to their senses. Their phones did not have any signal, and they were unable to connect to the internet. The place was like an uninhabited island that carried deep malice in every corner. This made their backs shiver with a chill. These people did not all come from Chuehu City. Some of them came from the capital city, some from the coastal open city. As for the scammers, they were touring around the country while earning money on the way and were currently in a southern city. Could this place be God's domain? Could we have been chosen to carry out quests? And then convert them into attributes, blood channels, skills, weapons, and other things to strengthen ourselves. The senior high schooler that had been playing games while lowering his head the whole time, looked up. God's domain? Wei Xiaobei bitterly smiled. The so-called God's domain was a web novel and Wei Xiaobei just happened to have read it before. In the novel, there was a mysterious space managed by a god. The god would choose people who no longer had any hope in life and bring them in. The god would then send them to a random movie scene, give them tasks and let them earn points. After every scene ends, the survivors would return to the space and then exchange their points for various things. According to the story, almost anything could be exchanged, from attributes to divinity. Other than that, there were also luxury goods, money and other various things. Moreover, the price for exchanging things was so cheap that every failure of a human being in the real world envied the characters in the story. In reality, Wei Xiaobei felt that the only similarity the dust world had with God's domain was the danger. This place did not have something like a good system that would allow you to exchange points. This place also did not have a safe place for people to even take a break. His own status panel also relied on evolution points to increase his attributes and skills. This place is not some god's domain. I suggest everyone to find a weapon to defend themselves. Other than that, people who have food and water should not waste them. This place is not a paradise for you to enjoy in. Wei Xiaobei did not want to talk to these people. After saying these words, he prepared to move out. His own food and water supply was also going short. He needed to quickly find the apartment building he previously lived in. Naturally, it would also be a lot better if he could find food and water as he explored the place. However, before he left, something strange happened. The woman that had been previously bitten suddenly turned pale and dropped down on the ground, shocking everyone there. Wei Xiaobei was startled as he saw the familiar scene. He seemed to have seen something similar in Resident Evil. Could this be the symptoms of the zombie virus? In the next moment, the woman gradually turned still as her mouth bubbled with blood. Seeing this scene, people quietly pulled back and watched from a distance. They were not idiots. It was clear to them what had happened to the woman. Whether it was an infectious disease or not, nothing good would come out from it. Xiao Lian. Are you okay? The thinnest man from the scammer group held the woman with anxiety. The relationship between them seemed to be lovers or husband and wife. Woo woo woo. The woman let out some unclear sounds. The thin man immediately moved his ear closer, but immediately shouted, "Ah!" Everyone could see that the woman bit on the man's ear while grabbing the man's body. The woman then began to pull, and immediately tore off the ear in a few tries. The man tragically shouted and tried taking back his ear, but the woman was already chewing on it, turning it into meat paste. Xiao Lian. Have you gone nuts? The thin man angrily slapped the woman on the face, but the woman simply did not care about it at all. She just directly pounced on the man and tightly hugged him as she bit on his face. The man under the woman's restriction was actually unable to struggle, and meat tore from his face in just one bite. Seeing the woman go crazy, the scammers were all startled but immediately went forward. They tried to pry the man free, but his face was already covered in blood due to the huge hole on his face. Without even being able to push away the woman, the two other women and one man turned pale in the face and fell backwards. Seeing this scene, Wei Xiaobei completely understood. This was because they had also been injured by the zombie and was infected with the zombie virus. This point cannot be doubted. The problem was, why did the zombie virus not appear in reality to the point that it had even disappeared from within the zombies? These questions gave Wei Xiaobei a headache. However, this was not the time for him to think about these things. After the three scammers collapsed, the zombified woman took the chance to attack one of the last three scammers while they were absent-minded and bit on his fingers. The man immediately lost all will to resist due to the excruciating pain. At this time, the last two men panicked. They did not know if they should attend to their fallen comrades or save the man that was being attacked. In reality, they did even need to think as Wei Xiaobei helped them make the choice. The blade light flashed, decapitating the zombified woman. The blade flashed again, chopping off one of the woman on the ground's head. Seeing this scene, the remaining people were left stupefied. One of the remaining two men was somewhat gutsy. He went up and blocked Wei Xiaobei while pointing at him and trembling, "Why you dare kill people?" As for the observers, they were all startled and took a few steps back as they speechlessly looked at Wei Xiaobei. He was far too bloody and too violent. It had simply exceeded their ability to accept it. Wei Xiaobei's eyes moved onto the man's shoulder and saw that there was a bite mark. He is infected with the virus. Kill. The machete swept past the man's neck, sending his head flying. Seeing this scene, even a courageous person would not dare question Wei Xiaobei. Afterwards, he waved his machete to chop off the heads of anyone who was infected among everyone. In reality, Wei Xiaobei became slightly reluctant by the time he reached the end. Some of the people had already turned into zombies. However, some haven't turned yet and were still human. As a result, it was obvious how much of an impact it had on Wei Xiaobei to kill them. However, this was something he must do. If these people became zombies, then they were his enemies. As a result, he needed to nip the problem in the bud. Naturally, he knew that doing so would make others see him as some kind of demon. Wei Xiaobei did not care about this. They were all in the dust world, so there was no problem in killing people who were about to become zombies. The police didn't have the ability to cross worlds and apprehend him at all. That said, the people who had turned and the people who had yet to turn gave Wei Xiaobei a total of 300 points, meaning he earned 50 points on average per person. Compared to the mercenaries, this was a lot lesser, but it was still not bad. In an instant, out of the 8-person scammer group, only one man was left trembling on the ground. Right now, it should be accurate to call him a little quail that had just experienced a storm. This little quail was terrified of Wei Xiaobei swinging his blade, so he did not move at all from the ground. Wei Xiaobei did not have any plans of exchanging words with these people. He went back to his building and stopped in front of the fountain. He did not enter the building and just concentrated on his status panel. Previously, he wanted to increase his intuition to 20 points, and now that he had 314 evolution points, he naturally did not delay. He would never place his safety in the hands of a stranger. As a result, he ran to the fountain to put a bit of a distance between him and the rest of the group. After all, he did not know what would happen after his intuition reached 20. As his evolution points were consumed, his intuition increased. 18.31, 18.32, 18.33, 18.34. In the eyes of the observers that stumbled into the dust world, they did not dare go after Wei Xiaobei even as he blankly stood in front of the fountain. However, they did not dare stay in that place for a long time as he was too terrifying and had swung his blade a few times. On the other hand, the headless corpses on the ground were too intimidating that a few girls and women could not even move their legs. No matter what was said, they took the opportunity of Wei Xiaobei moving to the fountain to begin heading to the edge of the plaza. Seeing that Wei Xiaobei did not chase after them, their fear decreased as they started running forward without caring what was in front of them. Wei Xiaobei's intuition quickly reached 20 points. He felt something warm flow into his head. Afterwards he did not feel any changes, as if increasing his intuition to 20 points did not reap any benefits. However, when he looked at his status panel, a new ability appeared beside his intuition, Early Warning. Early Warning, this ability substantially increases a person's ability to sense danger and special objects. Special objects? Wei Xiaobei could not help but be surprised. He suddenly felt something was watching him. This feeling was very unpleasant as if his entire self was exposed and something cold was touching his insides. Without any hesitation, Wei Xiaobei's body let out a blue electric light. Soon, the electric light cracked and spread everywhere like a tide. At this time, a faint cry sounded and disappeared. In an instant, the electric light disappeared without leaving a trace. The fountain statue close by on the other hand was left with black scorch marks. At this time, the cold touch disappeared and his mood lifted. The only problematic thing was that when Wei Xiaobei released electricity, the terrifying hunger that had not appeared for a while, showed itself. Wei Xiaobei had no choice but to open his bag and grab the nutrition bar and take big bites out of it. The amount of energy that the nutrition bar provided was much more than the hardtack, and after eating 2 nutrition bars, the hunger that emerged had largely been suppressed. What surprised Wei Xiaobei was that he had found a piece of jerky inside his backpack. This jerky was from the cooked shangfu. For Wei Xiaobei, it was considered a delicacy of the dust world. After eating, he felt somewhat thirsty so he drank the last 2 bottles of water he had left. After his hunger subsided, Wei Xiaobei burped and looked at his status panel. He had a slight premonition that the cry had something to do with the discomfort he had been feeling. Battle log. Early warning obtained. Noticed concealed strange evil possession. Activated release electricity. Cleared away the strange evil possession. Strange evil possession. A chill ran down Wei Xiaobei's spine. In reality, he did not know how long this had been going for. If he did not increase his intuition to 20 points, gain the early warning ability, notice the evil possession, clear it away, he did not know when it would have caused him problems. Wei Xiaobei's attention was caught by the words in his status panel. He could not help feel surprised that there was no other information in it. It must be known that anything that appeared in the battle log would have even the slightest bit of information. The only exceptions to this was the strange building and the mysterious footsteps. Could it be that the evil possession had something to do with the mysterious footsteps? Wei Xiaobei looked at the building with bewilderment. After staring at it a bit, he looked away. At the very least, he had already cleared away the evil possession. As long as he had a method of dealing with it, he can be slightly relieved and not be afraid anymore. At this time, screams for help came from a distance. Wei Xiaobei looked at the plaza and saw that everyone had ran away. Moreover, cries of help came from everywhere. It was easy to imagine that these people also did not trust each other, so they split up in different directions. Wei Xiaobei did not need to care about these people, but these people had actually ran back to the plaza. Their numbers had been reduced by more than half of their original size, and some had even brought zombies with them. The biggest group of zombies was made up of around 30 zombies. However, for these people who lived in a peaceful era, less than 100 zombies was enough to leave them weak in their knees. Seeing Wei Xiaobei walking towards them, these people's cries for help increased a few times. Wei Xiaobei frowned. These people were too loud. In the worst-case scenario, they would attract a large group of lickers. Naturally, since they had attracted the zombies, Wei Xiaobei would not waste the evolution points and treated it as a warm-up. When a panting girl ran past him, he swung the machete in his left hand and beheaded the zombie behind her. Even when the zombie's head landed beside the girl had already lost the strength to scream. Kill. Wei Xiaobei instantly made his decision to not do a sloppy job, just like when he decided to kill the people that were bitten by zombies. He noticed that the more he killed zombies and people, the more deeper understanding he had towards the blade techniques. Naturally, this was also influenced by his Bajiquan being at the level of perfection. Blade techniques were also one of Bajiquan's skill. Using blade techniques in a real battle was actually a really important factor in a person's improvement. In ancient times, if a new soldier fought through more than 10 battles, killed 100 enemies, and stayed alive, then they would naturally become sword experts. Staying between life and death was the most effective way of training Guoshu. However, a single bit of carelessness in a dangerous situation would also mean death. As the blade flashed, a young man could not help but sigh in relief as he saw the zombie chasing him fall down, but in the next instant, the blade mercilessly swept past his neck. His head flew without even understanding what happened. This scene made the people heading for Wei Xiaobei stop their movements. In an instant, a few people were pushed down by the zombies that were chasing after him. Following that, more zombies threw themselves towards their prey. After a series of tragic cries, the people's flesh, throat and other body parts were all torn apart. At this time, Wei Xiaobei did not have the time to explain why he suddenly killed people randomly. In reality, as long as they carefully looked at the young man that was beheaded, they would notice black blood flowing from his shoulders. Wei Xiaobei was only preventing him from suffering more pain. Compared to when Huang Kun came to the dust world, these people were luckier. The zombies that were chasing after them amounted to less than 100. As Wei Xiaobei continued his massacre, the zombies quickly decreased, while also gravitating towards him and allowing more people to escape. The final number of people who were able to escape was only 12. There were both men and women. The more than 30 people previously had been cut down by 2/3. Seeing the zombies sprint forward and how Wei Xiaobei killed a zombie with every swing of the blade, the lucky group of people immediately whispered to each other. That person's a demon. I will definitely report him to the police when I return. A young man wearing golden-rimmed glasses and dust-covered shirt indignantly said. It was clear that he was a white-collared worker that had just graduated. However, it was easy to tell that he was a hypocrite from just his words alone. No matter what is said, he still saved us. Should we go help him? A ponytailed female college student quietly muttered, but her voice was heard by everyone. What do you mean by saved us? He is also afraid of death. This entire place is filled with zombies. If he didn't kill them, then he would also be killed. An obese fatty, who looked successful in life, fixed his messy hair and disdainfully spoke. Without a doubt, the words of a successful person was infectious as the majority of them nodded their heads in favor of him. The last remaining man from the scamming group also followed up with words, "This big brother's words are not wrong. Looking at the amount of zombies, anyone who would go forward would immediately die." A few young people who grabbed sticks and seemed eager to give a helping hand, immediately stopped their footsteps when they heard these words. At that moment, even the ill-informed and narrow-minded people that were there understood that the lunatics were not just lunatics, but zombies. Just like those in the new popular movie that had just came out. They were not that different from the juncture, but they did not suck blood. On the other hand, the zombies ate human flesh and those who were injured by them would also turn into zombies. In reality, a lot of people were not afraid of the zombies, but if they were bitten then they would also become zombies. This was the frightening part of fighting against them. The risks were simply too high. However, these people did not think about these things too deeply. If Wei Xiaobei had been killed, then how were they going to safely escape? Humans would only look at the things that were directly in front of them most of the time and would not look any deeper into the future. It was not strange for people to do utterly heartless things for small profits. Naturally, their words did not escape Wei Xiaobei's ears. With his perception reaching 20 points, let alone whispers, he could even faintly hear every one of their heartbeats. However, humans have sympathy. Even though the majority of them were frightened by the zombies, there were still people who did not lack foresight. The fair-skinned female college student stared at Wei Xiaobei in the middle of the zombies and muttered something while slightly hesitating. In the end, she snatched a wooden stick from the young man close to her and charged into the zombies. No one knew why she did this. A timid weak female had actually charged out to fight zombies. Could it be that she had gone crazy? That was definitely possible. Those were the thoughts that ran through everyone's minds. Although the girl was not a devastating beauty and had some freckles sprinkled on her face, her tender, white skin and exquisite body still made her extremely attractive. What a pity. The successful obscene man sighed. For him, this girl was a lot better than the two he was previously flirting with. He felt that the inner qualities of a college student was the best. He felt himself becoming passionate as he looked at the girl that continued to run. Naturally, no matter how passionate he would not risk his life and pull her back. This was something that he would never do. As a rich person in the town, he had relied on swindling to earn his position today. He had not yet enjoyed it to the fullest, so he could not just die. Most of the people also thought that she was only throwing away her life. They believed that with the homicidal maniac's temper, he would probably just leave her, and she would definitely die. Careful. Seeing that two zombies about to reach Wei Xiaobei from behind, she let out a cry and used the wooden stick in her hands to strike one of the zombies' head. The girl was very courageous. Facing the terrifying zombies, many girls, women, ladies, would probably turn limp and fall on the ground from fright. Her act of attacking the zombie was a very admirable act. However, courage was only courage. No matter how much courage she had, it would never replace strength. Pow! The wooden stick hit the zombie's head accurately. However, the attack had not even fazed the zombie, and the girl did not pull back the stick on time, so the zombie had actually caught the wooden stick. Another two zombies that had been attracted by this situation quickly walked towards her. The girl was too nervous. She forgot to just let go of the stick and struggled to pull it free from the zombie. Wei Xiaobei sighed and swung his machete. He immediately killed the zombie holding the stick and pulled the girl into his embrace. Then he stamped on the floor and quickly moved past the approaching zombies. Stand still and don't move. Wei Xiaobei brought the girl out of the group of zombies. Then he lightly pushed her away and went back to killing zombies. Although the girl was still slightly panicking, she stared blankly at Wei Xiaobei's back. At this time, the amount of zombies had decreased to less than 50. Knowing this, Wei Xiaobei became much more relaxed. With the zombies' speed, catching Wei Xiaobei would be very hard. If these normal zombies truly wanted to deal with Wei Xiaobei, the only way for them to do so was if he was surrounded by a sea of them. Only when his stamina would fully deplete, would he die. Naturally, doing this was something the zombies would not be able to do. At the very least, there needed to be more than 1,000 of them. Wei Xiaobei would just send the zombies that charged towards him flying and chop off the heads of the zombies that were going to ambush him from behind. Suddenly, he frowned while staring hard at the street in front of him. He could sense great danger quickly approaching from that direction. This danger had exceeded what he could cope with. Without any hesitation, he abandoned the moving evolution points and ran away from the group of zombies. He grabbed the girl with his left hand and threw her on his shoulder before she could even scream. Soon, he quickly ran away in the opposite direction to where the danger was coming from. As he ran, he bitterly smiled. This was the second time he placed someone on his shoulders in the dust world. It was also the third time he had saved someone. Could I have gone weak? After thinking about it, he threw these thoughts at the back of his mind. This is not weakness. This is simply a part of my principles. Just like the previous observers, Wei Xiaobei could not actually muster up the thoughts of saving people. If he had been seen by actual saints, he would probably be sprayed to death by them. He had the ability to save people, yet he did not do so. This was the epitome of a selfish action. As he sensed the girl struggling on his shoulder, Wei Xiaobei shouted, "Don't move, or else I'll throw you to the zombies." Wei Xiaobei's threat made the girl immediately abandon the thought of struggling. However, he could still feel the soft body slightly trembling on his shoulder. No matter what, she was still a girl. Thinking about this, Wei Xiaobei quickened his pace and ran to the edge of the plaza, frantically running into the zombieless street. At this time, skinless monsters with exposed brains were coming out from the street where Wei Xiaobei had first perceived danger. The monsters moved very quickly on all limbs and approached the plaza. The lickers had appeared. Seeing that Wei Xiaobei ran away, the observers sneered in their hearts. However, when they saw the zombies chasing after them with slow speeds, they moved separately towards the other edge of the plaza. Perhaps because they were afraid of Wei Xiaobei, they did not choose to go in the same direction as him. Most of them had moved to the street opposite of Wei Xiaobei direction. This was because there were no zombies in that street. However, they did not know that in the dust world, places with seemingly no monsters did not mean it was safe. This was because there could be stronger monsters hidden in them. When a licker appeared, the people just stared blankly. The licker's appearance was shocking. The people who had not seen them before felt numb all over and were unable to budge their legs. It was like a dog encountering a lion, an instinctive fear. However, their thoughts of survival made them turn around and run. It was clear that they had made a mistake in their choice of escape. The licker was very fast. It only needed 3 seconds to reach the plaza. Pop. The man running at the back of the group immediately stopped as his head burst open. The bloody tongue of the licker pierced through the man's head and retracted back again. Following the first death, more lickers appeared from the street. They were like wolves in the grassland that had found their prey. In just 20 seconds, the only person that was left in the plaza was one last scammer. 15 lickers had surrounded him on all sides. Seeing the terrifying monsters, the man fell into despair. Perhaps because he was looking back on all the sins he had committed, a teardrop came out from his eyes. Mommy. Pop, 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 pop. The 15 tongues had turned his body into a hornet's nest. When the lickers pulled back their tongues, blood splattered out like a fountain, instantly dyeing the place red. After killing everyone, the lickers immediately pounced on the corpses and ate their fill. These high-leveled zombies had recovered their strength from eating blood and meat. Perhaps because some of the lickers still were full, they immediately moved towards Wei Xiaobei's direction. At this time, Wei Xiaobei already reached the end of the street. A small district appeared before him. Perhaps because it was the dust world, that there could be a small district there. Because the street was cut off by the small district, there was a wall that exceeded 3 meters currently blocking the way. Wei Xiaobei followed the wall and ran. Then he noticed a locked gate. When he looked past the gate, he saw human figures moving back and forth in the small district. Zombies. Wei Xiaobei was able to clearly see them from this distance. Since there were only a few of them, their threat against Wei Xiaobei was not serious. After crossing over the wall while carrying the girl, the zombies were immediately attracted to the sound of him landing. Seeing the zombies, Wei Xiaobei bitterly smiled. No matter how you looked at it, Wei Xiaobei looked like a rapist and the zombies were the heroic men standing up against him. There were currently 3 zombies approaching him, but Wei Xiaobei did not stop moving. He quickly ran past the zombies while also swinging his machete, killing 2 of them. Just like most buildings in the dust world, the buildings in the small district were in ruins. Wei Xiaobei did not know if the lickers followed after him, but when he looked back, no lickers appeared. He knew that this did not really mean that they were safe. For predatory zombies like the lickers, distance did not mean that they would stop chasing after their prey. When Wei Xiaobei moved through the district, he had already encountered some trouble. A wild dog appeared in Wei Xiaobei's line of sight. Its entire body was rotting, and its skin had mostly peeled off. There were even maggots squirming on top of its body, which appeared to be very disgusting. This should be the zombie dogs that appeared in Resident Evil. After all, if it was a normal dog, an injury like that would probably be enough to kill it and never allow it to run toward him. Courting death. The zombie dog was one of the most troublesome enemies in the game. It was not that they had a high vitality or powerful attacks, but it was because of their short stature. Additionally, they were very agile and adept at hiding themselves. This made it hard for the protagonist in the game to accurately hit them with firearms. For Wei Xiaobei, these dogs were also slightly troublesome. Because it was the first time Wei Xiaobei encountered them, he had almost missed when he swung the machete. When the machete that was aimed toward its head chopped down, it jumped forward, and the machete sliced off most of its rear. If it was a normal creature, then this cut would have already been able to inflict an injury devastating enough to make the enemy flee. However, against zombie-type creatures, this kind of injury would not make them flee at all. The zombie dog that rushed under Wei Xiaobei's foot, opened its mouth and bit toward his leg. If Wei Xiaobei was bitten, then he would not only be injured, but he would also be infected with the zombie virus. He quickly raised his left foot and kicked toward the dog's throat, sending it flying. Wei Xiaobei strode after it and swung his blade before the dog landed on the ground. In an instant, the dog had been bisected from head to tail. The black blood splattered all over Wei Xiaobei's body. He did not frown at all as he gazed at the shadows coming from the front. There were more than 10 shadows running towards his direction. They were all zombie dogs. Wei Xiaobei never imagined that there were so many zombie dogs in this small district. In reality, although the dogs were not big, they were a lot stronger than normal zombies. If the zombie dogs surrounded Wei Xiaobei, then it would be a bad situation. I cannot get into a fight against these dogs. Wei Xiaobei did not retreat, but he instead moved forward. He brandished his machete and instantly cut down the zombie dogs that pounced at him, sending them backwards. Although this attack was not fatal against the dogs, he had opened up a path for himself. The dogs kept pouncing toward him, but they were either sent flying by a kick or were killed by a chop of the blade. When 3 zombie dogs had been killed, Wei Xiaobei already ran past them with a speed that even the dogs could not catch up to. Very quickly, 10 lickers crossed over the walls and entered the small district. However, Wei Xiaobei had already activated his response search ability earlier and sensed the lickers' arrival. He decided to hide inside a zombieless villa. When they lost their guidance of sound, these lickers immediately lost their targets and spread out around the district, aimlessly roaming around. If these lickers lost their targets, then they were no better than the zombies that were moving around. They did not show enough intelligence to search for their prey at all. Wei Xiaobei quickly went up to the second floor and put down the girl on the balcony. The view of the balcony was extensive, making it easy to attack and defend from there. Even if a licker wanted to launch a sneak attack, it would be hard for Wei Xiaobei to not notice it. Don't speak first. Wei Xiaobei placed a finger in front of his mouth. The girl calmed down and stared at Wei Xiaobei. Her face was slightly pale, which might have been due to her being carried around while Wei Xiaobei was running. She was so startled that she did not speak at all. Wei Xiaobei entered the room again, and the girl followed behind him. Wei Xiaobei circled the entire place once and grabbed as many unused chopsticks that he could find. Then he returned to the balcony as the girl trailed behind him. It was easy to see that the girl had already considered Wei Xiaobei to be her benefactor. Don't be nervous. We can chat but not too loud. Right, what is your name? Where are you from? What were you doing before you entered this place? Wei Xiaobei spoke in a light tone and wore a gentle smile. His hands did not stop sharpening the chopsticks. If he felt that the center of balance of the chopsticks was wrong, he would carve it more. My name is Zhu Xine. I am a student from Hangzhou University. I was studying in the dormitory before I came here. The girl blushed after she finished speaking. It seemed that this was the first time where she had taken the initiative to introduce herself to a stranger, so she had become embarrassed. How about you? Perhaps feeling that things were too monotonous, she returned back the question at hand. Me? My name is Wei Xiaobei. A martial arts practitioner. Wei Xiaobei placed the sharpened chopsticks to the side and spoke with a smile. However, his words did not reveal where he came from. Refrain from harming others, yet guard against those trying to hurt you. Wei Xiaobei would never place his own safety in the hands of others. This was not called selfishness but was rather a kind of self-defense. So you are a martial arts practitioner. No wonder your skills are so good. So many zombies have been turned into a sorry state by you. Hearing this, Zhu Xine's mood immediately cleared up. She was like a child that had obtained a toy gun. The fear in her heart had also decreased. Naturally, the kind of love at first sight directed at the protagonists of novels would not happen to him. In reality, girls would admire handsome men and would even scream their names when they saw them. However, when it comes to the relationship between them, this was not a simple question to answer. After all, not everyone would entrust their happiness to someone based on a person's face. Moreover, Wei Xiaobei's current appearance was only at the level of being acceptable among normal people. If he wanted his appearance to reach the level of making girls scream in joy, then he would need to increase his appearance and character to at least 12 points. Wei Xiaobei continued to chat with Zhu Xine to soothe her. He also did not stop moving his hands and continued to sharpen the chopsticks. After a while, there was already a pile of them on the ground. Wei Xiaobei looked at the battle log in his status panel. Battle log. You encountered 1-star elite creature, zombie dog. You killed a zombie dog. You encountered a group of 1-star elite creature, zombie dog. You killed a zombie dog. You escaped the battle. Zombie dog, 1-star elite creature. Dogs infected by the zombie virus. They are agile, and their bites contain the zombie virus. This was the information Wei Xiaobei gained from his status panel. From Wei Xiaobei's point of view, this zombie dog was much stronger than the giant black scorpions. However, the amount of evolution points that he earned was still the same 50 points. From this, it could be seen that the evolution points provided were not equal to strength in the dust world. Naturally, if you looked at it from another point of view, the strength of the giant black scorpions was not that far from the zombie dog. The zombie dogs were very fast and could even transmit the zombie virus. They were a huge threat to humans. As long as people were injured by them, then they were already at death's door. However, if they were defended against properly, then dealing with them was not that difficult. In short, Wei Xiaobei felt that there was a fixed reasoning behind the evolution points, but he was not able to see through its secrets. For Wei Xiaobei, dealing with 5 zombie dogs was much easier than dealing with a licker, even if the number of the evolution points received from eliminating them was the same. However, if it was an expert sniper, then killing a licker from afar would be quite easy. The exposed brain of the licker was its fatal weakness. This was the main reason why Wei Xiaobei was sharpening the chopsticks, to deal with the lickers. Those monsters were too difficult to deal with even if they had dispersed around the small district. However, if Wei Xiaobei were to fight against a licker right now, he would probably be met with a flock of them soon after and be surrounded from all sides. Before this happened, Wei Xiaobei needed to allocate all of his evolution points and put them to good use, increasing his fighting power. This time, he had gained 645 evolution points. 150 points had come from the zombie dogs, while the rest were from humans or zombies. Seeing Zhu Xianyi's depressed expression, he knew that she had been extremely frightened. Afraid that she might not be able to handle it anymore, he let her enter the room to rest first. Who knew that Zhu Xianyi was unwilling to do so? As if once she entered the room, Wei Xiaobei would run away. Without any choice, Wei Xiaobei could only go find a worn-out comforter and wrapped her in it so that she could sleep on the spot. When she finally fell asleep, Wei Xiaobei contemplated a bit. Soon, he entered the room. Although the villa was in such a shabby state, the furnishings inside were complete, but some items were already too old to be usable. Wei Xiaobei walked down to the living room and found a dartboard behind the sofa. Wei Xiaobei hung the dartboard and placed a cloth behind it to dampen the sound. Afterwards, Wei Xiaobei grabbed a sharpened chopstick, backed away from the wall, and focused on the dartboard. After a second, his hand suddenly moved and threw the chopstick. With his strength, the chopstick flew like an arrow. Pop! With a light sound, the chopstick had struck the wall. Wei Xiaobei did not go up to check the result even though it was dark inside the villa, but he was able to clearly see the result. From a distance of 15 meters, Wei Xiaobei was able to embed the chopstick a centimeter deep into the wall. The strength was dependable, but the chopstick did not hit the dartboard and deviated out by around 3 meters. Luckily, Wei Xiaobei did not do this outside in the real world, or else he would have already lost all face to come out from his home. He thought for a bit and changed the position of the chopstick in his hand, then he threw it. Pop! A light sound came out once again and made Wei Xiaobei smile after. Although he still did not hit the dartboard, the distance had decreased to only half a meter. From this, it was easy to see how big his improvements were. It must be known that using concealed weapons was a disagreeable art in ancient Chinese martial arts. One of the essential points of martial arts was to have morals. Concealed weapons were things that were seen in a much more sinister light. Although there was a school that taught the use of concealed weapons, it was a practice passed on to very few people. For a Guoshu expert, using concealed weapons was easy to learn. After all, concealed weapons focused on accuracy and steadiness, and then was supplemented by strength. Compared to other martial arts, using concealed weapons focused more on speed. Wei Xiaobei never learned any techniques on concealed weapons. Cheng Baiwu also did not know how to use them. Moreover, a martial art like Bajiquan which valued honor more than anything did not have any branches that used concealed weapons. As a result, it was normal for him to make mistakes. However, after trial and error, Wei Xiaobei was able to quickly hit the dartboard. But Wei Xiaobei would not be satisfied with just hitting the dartboard, he needed to hit the bull's eye. On the 21st chopstick, he had finally hit the bull's eye. In reality, this was the ability of a powerful martial artist to deduce things from one instance and understand it. As long as a person learned a martial art to a deep level, then learning a new martial art would be faster and easier. This was the reason why many successful Guoshu experts would learn other martial arts. In order to make a breakthrough, they would learn all they could and finally become a true master. For example, a famous martial artist named Dong Hai Chuan learned many martial arts, and in the end, he had created his bagwazang and become a martial arts master. With Wei Xiaobei's attainments in Bajiquan, making the chopsticks fly was not hard thing. Though having hard time at the start was a normal thing. Pop, 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 pop. As Wei Xiaobei continuously threw all his chopsticks, the dartboard quickly filled with chopsticks. Some of the chopsticks had even collided with each other and broke. After taking all the intact chopsticks, Wei Xiaobei slowly returned to the second-floor balcony. Zhu Xine was still asleep at this time. Wei Xiaobei was curious. In his mind, as long as one fell asleep in the dust world, they would be sent out of the dust world and return to reality. However, he wondered why Zhu Xine was still in the dust world even if she had fallen asleep. Naturally, he did not have any interest in waking her up at the moment. He leaned on the steel railing on the balcony and looked around the place. He also looked at his status panel to check every status. In the end, his attention landed on his skills. Skills: shooting, intermediate; military boxing, intermediate; electrical work, beginner; Bajiquan, perfection; fishing, beginner; 3 Emperor Cannon Fist, beginner; concealed weapon, intermediate. Wei Xiaobei became happy at this. After he had thrown more than 100 chopsticks, he had gained a new skill, concealed weapon. Moreover, it had skipped beginner and was intermediate. Sure enough, as long as he trained a skill to a certain level, the skill had a chance of showing up in the status panel. However, what does this concealed weapon mean? Wei Xiaobei pondered for a bit and understood that this must be a temporary name only. If it was originally his master's teaching or a specialized art from where he acquired the skill, then the name would be different. He ignored this curious question for now. Later on, if he wanted to have a specialized concealed weapon skill, then all he needed to do was return to reality to ask his master. Moreover, since he had gained this skill, he knew where he wanted to allocate his evolution points. Wei Xiaobei had also calculated it. Hand-eye coordination. Wei Xiaobei concentrated on his status panel and made his hand-eye coordination increase to 20 points and using up 400 evolution points. Following this increase, Wei Xiaobei felt that a strange link between his vision and arms emerged. This strange link gave him strange impulses. At this time, a strange wind blew the withered leaves in front of the villa. Although the speed was not fast, the leaves were still more than 20 meters away floating with the wind. Wei Xiaobei swung his hand and a chopstick shot out. In an instant, the leaf had been penetrated. Not bad. A smile appeared on Wei Xiaobei's face while he looked at his status panel. When his hand-eye coordination reached 20 points, a new ability appeared. Accurate shot. This ability increases his accuracy when striking from long range. It increases effective range accuracy by 25%, killing range accuracy by 10%, and farthest range accuracy by 5%. Effective range refers to the range which weapons have an expected degree of accuracy and firepower. Killing range refers to the range which weapons could still kill people. Farthest range refers to the distance before the weapons would lose all speed when fired. Saying it like this was still very hard to understand. Using an AK-47 as an example, its effective range was 400 meters. If it exceeds 400 meters, the bullet would have a harder time to hit the target. Its killing range was 1,600 meters. In other words, within 1,600 meters, the AK-47 is still able to kill people. Its farthest range was more than 2,000 meters. In this distance between 1,600 to 2,000, the bullet had already lost its destructive power. When Wei Xiaobei threw the chopstick, he had not tried the farthest range, but its killing range was at least 30 meters, and its effective range was around 15 meters. This was not a small matter. Within 15 meters, Wei Xiaobei would be able to strike a fixed target without missing, and an 80% chance of hitting a moving target. This was also relative to the speed of the enemy. With the addition of his accurate shot ability, Wei Xiaobei would be able to have a 25% chance of hitting a creature with extremely fast speed, while 100% chance of hitting a creature with normal speed. In short, the new ability was very useful. Wei Xiaobei had 245 points remaining. Wei Xiaobei placed it into his newly acquired concealed weapons skill. After inputting 100 points, his concealed weapons skill upgraded from intermediate to advanced. When it reached the advanced level, Wei Xiaobei's accuracy with the chopstick increased even more. Moreover, he could shoot out 2 chopsticks at the same time with increased accuracy. As for the remaining 145 points, Wei Xiaobei just placed it into the 3 Emperor Cannon Fist, increasing it to the advanced level. In reality, he didn't use the 3 Emperor Cannon Fist much after he learned it. At most, he only trained it a bit when he was idle. If Bajiquan was the most violent internal martial arts, then the 3 Emperor Cannon Fist was bolder and imposing. It was just like an emperor who threw out an plain and simple yet undodgeable fist. Moreover, this school of martial arts originated from a Shaolin temple on Mti Song. It was also an internal martial art that emphasizes on qi. Those who learned this martial art had to have strong internal energies. It was a martial art that relied on qi. In other words, the more you trained your qi, the easier it was to learn the techniques. It was also because of this reason that Wei Xiaobei did not delve into this martial art before he opened all his meridians. Even if he placed evolution points into this martial art, without a strong qi foundation, it was simply useless in battle. Therefore, even if he leveled it up, he did not have any high hopes for it. At the very least though, he hoped that it would help him in training his qi. As for the remaining 45 evolution points, he used 44 points to increase his electrical voltage to 505 points. This should be enough. Wei Xiaobei gave a light flick on Zhu Xianyi's forehead. Zhu Xianyi, who was originally in a shallow sleep, immediately woke up. Seeing Wei Xiaobei's finger in front of his mouth, she held back her scream. "Brother Wei, did something happen?" Zhu Xianyi asked with a low voice. However, her extremely nervous appearance made her look sneaky and almost made Wei Xiaobei laugh. However, Wei Xiaobei immediately came to a realization. When did this girl begin calling me Brother Wei? Her mouth is just like Huang Kuan's. From this, it could be already seen that her adaptability was high. "I'll give you 2 choices. First, hide here, and wait for me to come back. I'll leave some food and water. Second, follow me, but I won't guarantee your safety." Wei Xiaobei's meaning was clear. If she stayed there, her safety would be somewhat guaranteed as long as she did not run around and shout to attract the zombies. Moreover, there was a possibility for her to return to reality before she finished her food and water. Naturally, Wei Xiaobei did not explain this final point to her. After all, he did not dare guarantee that she would be able to return to reality. The second choice was much more dangerous. When encountering danger, there was a chance that Wei Xiaobei would abandon her and run away. Hearing his words, Zhu Xianyi's face became pale. For a female college student like her, this selection was too cruel. The first choice seemed to be safer than the second, but it was hard to say that Wei Xiaobei would truly return, though not being able to return due to misfortune was normal. As for the second choice, the dangers were bigger. Zhu Xianyi's veins popped out from her forehead as she struggled to think. However, in less than half an hour, she made her choice. "Brother Wei, I will follow you." In reality, Wei Xiaobei already had a premonition that she would make the choice to follow him, so he was slightly regretting it. In reality, bringing children into the dust world was not a good decision. Especially when he had previously helped the girl once already. Once they encounter an unopposable danger, Wei Xiaobei truly did not know if he would abandon her or not. What a headache. However, since he had already said it, he cannot go back on his words. Okay, wait for me here for a bit. I will go find a path first. If it was not a necessity, Wei Xiaobei would never carry someone to battle. If it was like that, a portion of his strength would be placed on carrying the burden. Moreover, if Zhu Xine followed him, then encountering a licker would be enough to have her killed. Zhu Xine nodded her head. She felt a strange trust towards Wei Xiaobei's words. It was as if she had encountered a neighborhood big brother, otherwise, she would not simply call him Brother Wei. As for romantic affection, Wei Xiaobei was not her type. Wei Xiaobei jumped down the balcony. 5 meters was nothing for Wei Xiaobei, his landing only making a light sound. Zhu Xine nervously moved to the railing and looked at Wei Xiaobei. It was not that she hated to part with him, but rather, she was worried that he would not come back once he left. Naturally, she knew that she was powerless and could only obediently wait there. Wei Xiaobei walked out a few steps and waved his hand at Zhu Xine. He made a gesture for her to return and then quickly ran forward in front of him. The amount of zombies in the small district was few. Wei Xiaobei had already checked for a good direction when he looked from the roof of the villa. He moved forward to the wall of the district and only encountered 2 zombie dogs and 5 normal zombies. He easily earned 140 points from this. He immediately found a place to hide before placing all his evolution points into reflex. Up till now, Wei Xiaobei already had a rough plan on how to allocate his evolution points. First, he would put them into the agility's sub-attributes. When his agility reached 20 points, he would increase his sturdiness so that his body could display his full power. Afterwards he would increase his awareness attribute and then his intelligence attribute. For now, he did not have any plans to increase his charm attribute as he felt that it did not have a huge effect in battles. Naturally, Wei Xiaobei would later on realize that this was simply a huge misconception. As for his release electricity, Bajiquan, and other skills, he would increase them according to the need to do so. After placing 140 points into reflex, it increased to 17.4 points. The best benefit of this ability was to increase his reaction time so that he would not be caught off guard in an ambush. Reflex combined with other sub-attributes of agility would allow Wei Xiaobei to catch a raindrop. Who knew what kind of skill he would obtain once his reflex increased to 20 points? Wei Xiaobei thought for a bit and returned to his original path. However, Wei Xiaobei would never have imagined that his route back would be riddled with mishaps. First, a group of zombie dogs had soundlessly chased after him. After killing 2 of them, he noticed that a group of 5 lickers were running toward him from afar. At this time, Wei Xiaobei slightly regretted this decision. If he knew that things would be like this, he would have brought the girl with him. Now that he had alarmed the lickers, he could only run first. Wei Xiaobei circled the district a few times before he was able to throw off the lickers. Naturally, he needed to thank the brainless zombies moving around the place for this serendipity. They would sometimes carelessly knock against buildings and roadside benches and then fall down, creating noise. This would attract the closest lickers to them and was the reason why Wei Xiaobei was able to escape. Right now, in front of him was the basketball court of the small district. There were 2 old basketball stands, but they still stood on both sides of the court. There were also 2 lickers that were lying down on the court, clearly showing that they were at a loss. However, it was difficult for Wei Xiaobei's footsteps to escape their hearing. As a result, Wei Xiaobei was not able to slow down on time as the 2 lickers that had nothing to do charged toward him from the front. There are 2 lickers. Wei Xiaobei did not want to run anymore. As long as he could kill these lickers, he could increase his reflex to 20 points and gain a new ability. These were 500 evolution points in front of him. Kill! Wei Xiaobei lightly shouted and quickly chopped down his machete at the incoming tongue of one of the lickers. Wei Xiaobei had been able to previously cut the tongue in 2, but when he chopped at it now, it had been deflected back. It was as if the liquors had been strengthened. Wei Xiaobei was astonished. He stamped down his right leg and immediately dodged to the left side, barely evading the other tongue. The two liquors chased after him from both sides like wolves that did not want him to escape. They would shoot out their tongues from time to time, attempting to kill him. It was not only their strength that had increased, but Wei Xiaobei felt that they were slightly more intelligent than before, as they could even cooperate in hunting down their prey. Wei Xiaobei reached into his backpack and grabbed a chopstick. He threw it with all his strength, sending it flying out like an arrow. The distance between them was less than 6 meters. Moreover, this distance had exceeded the liquor's tongue's range. The liquor's tongue could only reach a bit more than 3 meters. The liquor on the right side was not even able to dodge, as its brain had been penetrated by the chopstick. Its body jerked and fell down the ground. The liquor on the left shot out its tongue, and it once again collided against the machete. However, after killing one of the liquors, the pressure on Wei Xiaobei had decreased by a lot. Once again, he dodged the liquor that was pouncing at him and threw another chopstick, killing it easily. Even if the fight ended like that, Wei Xiaobei's entire body was drenched in sweat at the end of the battle. Killing 2 liquors in such a short period of time had drained Wei Xiaobei. It was the equivalent to the amount of effort that he needed to kill 100 zombies. As a result, Wei Xiaobei thought that earning 500 evolution points after killing the liquors was not enough, just barely profitable. After all, killing 100 zombies gave him more than this. However, Wei Xiaobei could feel that he was able to better grasp his concealed weapon skill. Sure enough, real battles were the best place to train martial arts. Although he could encounter liquors in this area, he still stayed here and allocated his accumulated evolution points into his reflexes and flexibility, increasing both to 20 points. Following the increase in points, Wei Xiaobei experienced a degree of pain that he had never encountered before. It was like lava was flowing all throughout his body and destroying all of his nerves up till the nerve endings. In terms of pain, nothing could surpass the pain caused to the nerves. After all, the sensation of pain was transmitted through the nerves. At this time, the nerves in his body seemed to be constantly damaged, but because of a cold current flowing out, they had quickly healed up, preventing Wei Xiaobei from blocking the pain being transmitted to his brain. Sweat kept pouring out from his pores. After 5 seconds, his clothes appeared to have been soaked for a long time and continued to drip on the ground. As a cold wind blew past him, Wei Xiaobei lost his balance and fell down to the ground head first. The bridge of his nose was intimately touching the ground. In an instant, red blood started to flow out from his nostrils. His nose had been fractured. Wei Xiaobei sighed. Although his body could not move at the moment, he could clearly see what was happening around him. No matter what, he needed to urgently recover from his current state due to the dangers around him. However, he also knew that this kind of body remodeling could not be controlled at all. The only thing he could do was to try his best from fainting due to the pain. However, nerve pains were something that many people could not endure. I must shift my attention. Wei Xiaobei endured the pain and concentrated on his status panel. At this time, his flexibility and reflex had reached 20 points and glowed red. Wei Xiaobei tried to put more evolution points into these sub-attributes, but it did not work. The red glow should mean that the sub-attributes were locked, so he must wait for his body remodeling to finish before he could increase them. He looked down and saw that he had 281 evolution points remaining. According to his planned allocation, he should put his evolution points into sturdiness, release electricity, Bajiquan, or concealed weapon. 281 evolution points were not enough to be able to directly increase his sturdiness to 20 points, so he hesitated. When he had previously increased his sturdiness to 14.95 points, his entire body size and height had greatly changed. Anyone who knew him would easily notice the changes. If he increased his sturdiness to 20 points, the changes might be too immense for him to imagine. Would his height exceed 2 meters? Would his body size appear like the Hulk? Just thinking about it was enough to make Wei Xiaobei's scalp tingle. If it was truly like that, he did not know how he would be able to explain it to everyone. He might even turn into a monster in the eyes of his master and apprentice brothers. He decided not to put it into his sturdiness at the moment. Since his Bajiquan was at perfection, it meant that 200 points was not enough to increase it. Moreover, other than training his qi in his free time, Wei Xiaobei also trained in Bajiquan. He hoped to train it to a bottleneck before placing points into it. In this way, he could not only save evolution points, but he could also further perfect his Bajiquan. Wei Xiaobei had already faintly felt it before, but he was only able to confirm it when his Bajiquan reached perfection. He temporarily did not put points into his concealed weapon. He felt that if he trained it and used it in real battles, he could increase it to expert level and potentially even reach master level through the accumulation of battle experience. After all, for Wei Xiaobei who had reached perfection in Bajiquan, training in skills was a bit easy to do. This was like learning target shooting. No matter how bad a soldier was, as long as he had an endless number of bullets and training, he could even become a master gunman. For martial arts, a certain level of innate talent was needed. Wei Xiaobei who did his utmost to maintain his consciousness finally decided to put his evolution points into release electricity. Following the use of 280 evolution points, the voltage of electricity he could release increased to 645 volts. For a normal person, this voltage was already rather high. This voltage was already close to the voltage that an electric eel could output. According to some records, the highest voltage an electric eel could release was 880 volts. Naturally, that kind of voltage could only be released by an electric eel that had exceeded 1.23 meters in length. Common electric eels could release 300 to 800 volts. For electric eels, the higher the voltage, the lower the electric current would be, and the lower the voltage, the higher the electric current would be. As for Wei Xiaobei's release electricity, if there was no electrical resistance, humidity, and other obstructive elements, the voltage that he could release would be high, and even his electric current would be high as well. He was simply unable to control the intensity of the electricity that he released unless he released all the power at once. However, if he did that, he would be consumed with hunger, and the electricity that he obtained from eating would be wasted. Wei Xiaobei had guessed before that it might be because he had not placed enough evolution points into it. When he finally used up all his evolution points, he discovered that the pain all over his body had completely disappeared. On his status panel, 2 new abilities appeared. Flexibility, 20, improved body movement, reflex, 20, quick reaction. The 2 abilities had their differences. Improved body movement, increase flexibility and complement reflex. Quick reaction, increase reflexes. In unexpected situations, the body would be able to dodge and counterattack without conscious commands from the brain. This ability complements flexibility, intuition, and hand-eye coordination. There was not much to say about the improved body movement. As for the quick reaction, it was just an upgraded version of conditional reflex. Most people had experience in having conditional reflex. For example, when a person does a certain action repeatedly, their brains would immediately respond in a certain way when encountering the same situation and do the corresponding action. It was just like how a soldier in combat would immediately respond by lying on the ground when they hear gunfire and then inspect their surroundings. This ability was a much higher level of conditional reflex. Moreover, the ability complements with flexibility, intuition, and hand-eye coordination. This meant that if his enemy was to ambush him and was within his attack range, Wei Xiaobei would be able to counterattack without even thinking. From this, it can be imagined how important this ability was. In many battles, a single moment could determine victory or defeat. Real battles simply would not allow a person to consider too long on what to do. This ability would allow him to seize the opportunity in battle and enable him to make the corresponding counterattack. Even if he made a response, it might not be the best decision, but at the very least, he could delay the enemy and prevent himself from being in a dangerous position. No matter what was said, these two new abilities had increased his power by a lot. Moreover, Wei Xiaobei became overjoyed that his creature rank had increased again when his agility attribute reached 20 points. Creature rank, 2-star elite, gained after increasing 2 attributes to 20 points, elementary intimidation upgraded to intermediate intimidation. 2-star elite. He never imagined that he would become a 2-star elite creature. In terms of true power, Wei Xiaobei was a lot stronger than those lickers. Naturally, if he was against 2-star elite creatures like the Thunder Worm or the Fire Crow, victory or defeat against these types of foes was hard to tell. After all, the assets of the Thunder Worm and the Fire Crow were not purely their strength and agility but also their ability to shoot thunder and flames. Moreover, the benefit of becoming a 2-star elite creature was an upgrade in his elementary intimidation skill. Wei Xiaobei looked at his special skills. Special skills. Intermediate intimidation. When facing a creature with rank below 2-star that is the same race as the user, the creature would be afflicted with negative statuses of fear, reverence, panic, etc. Any afflicted creature would run away, stop advancing, worship, etc. The effects are a huge upgrade from elementary intimidation. Intermediate intimidation was still limited to humans, but the effects were greater than elementary intimidation. He did not need to test this. Wei Xiaobei could already feel a strangely imposing aura surrounding him that fluctuated according to his breathing. After inspecting his body again, he did not find any problems. Wei Xiaobei continued on his way, running toward the villa. Luckily, he did not encounter any more mishaps on his way back. Zhu Xine was lying down on the balcony while wrapped up in a comforter, and her head extended out over the railings to observe her surroundings. Seeing Wei Xiaobei's figure appear from the distance, she sighed in her heart. She removed the comforter, stood up, and waved her hands at Wei Xiaobei. Jump down. Wei Xiaobei did not go up, but rather he beckoned Zhu Xine to jump down. For a girl who was not yet 20 years old, this was a slightly difficult task. In really, Wei Xiaobei was testing this girl to see if she truly had the guts to stay in the dust world. Wei Xiaobei did not plan to become someone's babysitter. If training the girl had any worth, then he would not mind bringing her around for a period of time like Huang Kuan. At least, he would give her the chance to obtain the power necessary to survive in the dust world. As for future matters, he did not think about them. He thought that this may perhaps be just a momentary episode in his stay in the dust world. For a majority of girls, this kind of task would make them hesitate a lot. Many of them might even give up the idea of jumping down and would rather find another way. However, Zhu Xine's actions went against Wei Xiaobei's expectations. When he finished speaking, Zhu Xine's face paled, but she did not hesitate. She held the railing and crossed over to the opposite side. However, due to a moment of carelessness, she had let go of the railing and fell down head first. Facing a sudden situation like this, Wei Xiaobei did not mind at all. He stamped his feet on the ground and jumped up like a bird as he caught the falling Zhu Xine. What he never imagined was that from start to finish, Zhu Xine did not let out a single scream. Wei Xiaobei looked at the pale-faced girl while she gazed back at Wei Xiaobei with round eyes. "Are you okay?" Wei Xiaobei asked. I am alright. Just a bit panicked." Zhu Xine weakly responded. It was a lie to say that she was not scared. When she fell down from the balcony, Zhu Xine almost screamed. However, when she thought that she would attract a group of zombies if she did, she stifled her voice as her mind blanked out. She only came to her senses when Wei Xiaobei caught her and asked a question. "Then all is good if you're fine." Wei Xiaobei attempted to be solely friends with her so he would not have to show his utmost care to her. When he heard her response, Wei Xiaobei did not say anything else. After a bit of hesitation, he pulled out a rope from his backpack, let Zhu Xine cling onto him from the front, and then tied her to himself. At this time, Wei Xiaobei had already lost a lot of self-confidence. The lickers that could appear at any time would be able to kill Zhu Xine in less than 3 minutes. If he tied Zhu Xine in front of him, Wei Xiaobei would at the very least be able to escape with her if large amounts of lickers appeared. In reality, both Wei Xiaobei and Zhu Xine felt very awkward during the entire process. The posture of a girl clinging to a man from the front of him was a bit too over the top. If they were lovers, then there was no problems. However, the relationship between the two of them was only up till now normal friends. After a period of hesitation, Zhu Xine actually hugged him, but her cheeks were boiling red. She was so bashful that she felt embarrassed to even open her eyes. Luckily, after being bound, Zhu Xine's head hung on Wei Xiaobei's right shoulder. Since they were not face to face, her embarrassment had decreased a lot. Zhu Xine tried her utmost to imagine that she was hugging onto a giant teddy bear. As for Wei Xiaobei, he did not think at all. After moving around a bit, he found that the binding was effective, and Zhu Xine would not fall down. He held 2 chopsticks with his left hand and held the machete in his right hand. Then he examined the path that he would move on. In order to guarantee their safety, Wei Xiaobei would use response search every 50 meters he moved. If he used response search for a long time, the mental strain would be too large. As a result, he used it only to search his surroundings once before stopping it. Wei Xiaobei seemed to have a lucky break as he did not encounter any lickers on his way to the wall. As for other monsters, he encountered 2 zombie dogs and a group of 7 normal zombies. He had gained 156 evolution points from this journey. When he just obtained the evolution points, he immediately placed them into his release electricity's voltage, increasing it to 723 volts. Wei Xiaobei had already decided to increase his voltage to 1000 volts. This voltage limit would allow him to shoot electricity outwards by 1 to 2 centimeters in a humid environment. This did not seem to be much at all. From a normal point of view, a centimeter distance of electrical arcs would appear to be weak as it was no different from just touching the person instead. However, for Wei Xiaobei, once he could release an electric arc, his fighting strength would be completely different. Once he was able to shoot it out, even monsters with high electrical resistances would be greatly affected and would even have the electricity penetrate through their defenses. After all, the electrical resistance of air was not small. Wei Xiaobei used his response search to look behind the wall once and became relaxed when he verified that there were no other creatures within a 200-meter radius of his position. The wall behind the small district was higher than the wall he entered from. It was around 8 meters tall. For a majority of people, they would not be able to get over it if they did not have the right equipment. For Wei Xiaobei, as long as the wall was not perfectly perpendicular to the ground, then he could use his ground rooting ability to ascend past it. Even a wall that was 1,000 meters tall or even 10,000 meters tall would be possible to scale. When he first stepped onto the wall, he felt as if a strong force was pulling him downwards onto the wall. Then he calmly and easily walked to the top of the wall. In reality, Zhu Xine's mouth was opened very wide. She never could have imagined that Wei Xiaobei would not only be able to kill zombies but that he also even had supernatural powers. From her point of view, this was a supernatural power. However, when Wei Xiaobei jumped down from the wall and began to quickly move forward, Zhu Xine's face blushed again. From the villa until now, her face had remained red. This was something out of her control. Zhu Xine was clinging on to Wei Xiaobei, so when Wei Xiaobei was running, there would be some unintentional contact between them. Additionally, their clothes were not thick, making it similar to their skins rubbing against each other. Wei Xiaobei was focused on observing for surrounding movements, so he was unable to pay any attention to this. However, Zhu Xine was different. She had handed her safety off to Wei Xiaobei. As a result, most of her attention had been on this. At first, she wanted to distance herself from Wei Xiaobei's wide chest, but she quickly discovered that this was impossible to do so. The rope was tied quite tightly. If she wanted to push him away with her hands, this would at most only separate her from him by a centimeter, and then once again, she would be stuck close to him due to him running. The worst part was that Wei Xiaobei's sweat had not yet completely dried off, so he was letting off a thick scent of sweat which entered Zhu Xianyi's nose like an aphrodisiac. Other than her father, Zhu Xianyi had never came this close to a man before, making this situation very difficult for her. Moreover, when Zhu Xianyi moved around too much, Wei Xiaobei would berate her, "Don't flail about." For Wei Xiaobei, it was also difficult to have her stuck so close to his body. This was not related to his favorable impression of her but from a normal physiological male reaction. A soft body was making contact with his body and tied tightly together by a rope, causing their bodies to rub against each other. However, he would immediately shift his attention elsewhere once this occurred. The small road behind the wall of the small district was surrounded by ruined buildings on both sides of it. Wei Xiaobei charged through the small road. His line of sight soon widened. A green grass field appeared in front of him. He felt familiar with the scene. He did not think too deeply about it and continued walking. However, as he approached the grass field, a large, deep hole appeared, and there were green dwarfs wandering around in the vicinity looking for food. Wei Xiaobei finally understood what kind of place it was. This place was the former territory of the 3-star terror creature, Big Tree Spirit. The deep hole was the one created by the citizen of Longbow when it stepped on the Big Tree Spirit. Wei Xiaobei was a bit worried that the Mist Draconic Horse was still inside the hole, but after seeing that the green dwarfs were building thatched huts around the hole, he assumed that the Mist Draconic Horse had left the place. Otherwise, the green dwarfs would not dare set up camp in a place like this. Seeing Wei Xiaobei appear, the green dwarfs cried out. The nearest green dwarfs would charge towards his direction. Just like before, they wielded old and worn-out weapons. They even let out strange sounds, trying to scare off Wei Xiaobei. Wei Xiaobei was not in the mood to tangle with them right now. He moved toward the hole and looked down once he reached the edge. He could not help but suck in his breath at what he saw. The deep hole was originally more than 20 meters deep. However, when he looked at it, it was pitch black to the point that he could not tell its depth. The dull light ray from the sky could only shed light outwards for 100 meters, but everything below that was pitch black. What's going on? Could it be that the Mist Draconic Horse had continuously corroded the ground to create this? Contemplating about this, Wei Xiaobei did not waste time thinking anymore and used his response search skill. However, this was a fruitless effort. Even when he perceived until 200 meters, he still could not feel the lowest level of the hole. Whoosh! Wei Xiaobei swung his machete, instantly killing 2 green dwarfs that had pounced at him. He picked up a worn-out kitchen knife and threw it down the hole. The knife instantly fell down and disappeared in the darkness. Wei Xiaobei listened attentively, but in the end, he did not hear any sound at all. Could it be that this hole is 1,000 meters deep? In reality, Wei Xiaobei was not willing to stand on the edge of the hole. When he threw down the knife, he immediately felt an uncomfortable sense of danger. Naturally, this sense of danger was a hidden threat. He knew that as long as he did not go crazy and jumped down, the dangerous threat that he perceived would not be able to harm him. After a few swings of the machete, he had scared the green dwarfs into running away from him. Wei Xiaobei extended his hand and undid the binding, letting Zhu Xianyi down. Zhu Xianyi's face was blushing hard, but who knew why she did not get down? Wei Xiaobei awkwardly said, "Girl, are you planning on latching onto me forever?" Zhu Xianyi's face became redder, and she softly said, "My hands and feet feel numb. I can't get down." Zhu Xianyi did not need to walk when she was bound to Wei Xiaobei, but because of the rubbing between their bodies, her entire body went stiff. Now, let alone getting down, her hands and feet could not even budge from the hugging posture. Wei Xiaobei was stunned. He moved his hands to rub her hands and feet. Only then was he able to put her down. At this time, the number of green dwarfs that were surrounding them had increased to the hundreds, each waving a weapon and letting out strange threatening sounds. Compared to the zombies, the green dwarfs were a lot weaker, but they were more intelligent compared to the zombies. Seeing Wei Xiaobei kill a few green dwarfs, they did not dare act blindly without thinking and waited for more reinforcements. After Zhu Xine got down, she sat on the grass field and gently rubbed the numb parts of her body. Only after a while were the numb parts alleviated. Perhaps because the green dwarfs were shorter than her knees, Zhu Xine was not that afraid. However, she was slightly worried due to their numbers. "Brother Wei, what should we do? Should we leave first?" Wei Xiaobei smiled. Since the Mist Draconic Horse was not here, then the place could be called the best place to farm evolution points. There was no reason to leave at all. "Watch how I swing my blade," Wei Xiaobei instructed her. He waved his left hand, shooting out a chopstick. In an instant, it had penetrated a green dwarf's brain. The green dwarf swayed twice before falling down. Following Wei Xiaobei's action, more of green dwarfs became furious. The nature of the green dwarfs was strange. They were similar to piranhas living in the Amazon River. However, when their numbers were few, they became cowards. When encountering a strong enemy, their first reaction was to run away. However, once their numbers increased to a certain limit, then their boldness increased as well. They would even dare fight stronger opponents. The angered green dwarfs shouted and charged forth. Their demeanor seemed to suggest that they were planning to push Wei Xiaobei into the hole. However, Wei Xiaobei would never give them the chance. He strode forward, charging into the group of green dwarfs. He crouched his body and swept at the green dwarfs, slicing toward their waists. Every green dwarf that was cut only felt their waists go cold, and then the upper half of their bodies fell down as fresh blood immediately spurted out, dyeing the grass red. Whoosh! The blade was swung again, cutting down another group of green dwarfs. After these 2 times, the green dwarfs immediately pulled back and withdrew away by about 30 to 40 meters, forming a big circle. No matter how much the powerful green dwarfs at the back shouted, the green dwarfs near the front were not willing to go forward. They were not brainless creatures like the zombies. Bullying the weak and fearing the strong was their motto. They saw Wei Xiaobei's violent display of killing 9 of their comrades in 2 swings. They witnessed the gruesome appearance of the green dwarfs that were killed by being cut through their waists. No matter how bold they would not continue moving forward. "Do you understand it?" Wei Xiaobei retreated and gently asked. "Ah, yes. A little bit." Zhu Xine fearfully responded. This was different from killing zombies. These green dwarfs also had a life. Zhu Xine roughly understood what Wei Xiaobei wanted her to do. As a result, she answered a bit weakly. Naturally, demanding a girl to quickly learn blade techniques was not an easy task to accomplish even for the simplest chopping motion. However, Wei Xiaobei did not have that much protective feelings toward her. Hearing her response, he handed her the machete and instructed her, "Grab this and try it out." As he said this, he pointed toward the green dwarfs 30 meters away. Zhu Xine was stunned as if she could not believe that he wanted her to go alone. However, she knew that if she could not take this step, then living in this world would incredibly difficult. Perhaps, this might even become the reason for Wei Xiaobei to abandon her. When she thought about this, she steadied her panicked emotions. She grabbed the machete and swung it a few times. The machete was not small, but because it was made out of the sacred beetle's jaw, it was not that heavy at all. Its weight was about a kilogram. For a girl like Zhu Xine, the machete was not burdensome to carry. "Go. I will help you control the crowd on the side." Wei Xiaobei held onto a couple of chopsticks on each of his hands. He laughed and followed behind her. Zhu Xine took a few deep breaths. After controlling her frantic mood, she raised the machete and moved forward. Seeing a girl come out, the green dwarfs were stunned, but they soon cheered. Without a doubt, the green dwarfs were able to tell the difference between human genders. Moreover, they knew that women were weaker than men. The man is standing 20 meters behind the woman. Charge! Kill the woman. Let us all eat meat. This should roughly be what the green dwarfs were shouting. As a result, the most impulsive green dwarfs threw themselves forward while raising their weapons. There were about 30 of them. However, many green dwarfs were afraid that the man would make his move. Moreover, their positions were bad. Even if they moved forward, they might not gain any benefits. Hazing at the green dwarfs, Zhu Xine did not have any fear at all, but after seeing more than 30 knee-tall green dwarfs charge forth, she became slightly anxious. She could only encourage herself, Zhu Xine. You can do it. These small monsters are weak. Even if you fail, Brother Wei is standing behind you. People should not demand too much from a girl. After all, being able to raise a machete and not retreat from the charging green dwarfs was already not that bad. When the green dwarfs were about 10 meters from her, she crouched down. However, the green dwarfs were much more anxious than Zhu Xine. Seeing Zhu Xine crouch down, they immediately stopped moving their legs. Some of them even directly knocked against the comrade in front of them, sending them rolling forward. Seeing this scene, Zhu Xine was slightly dumbstruck, but after observing that a few of them rolled forward, she gritted her teeth and stood up. She ran a few steps forward and chopped down. Seeing the human woman swing the machete downward, the green dwarfs that were dizzy from rolling became terrified. Some of them immediately jumped up and retreated while others were not able to move at all. Some of them continued to roll forward trying to escape from the woman's side. In short, when creatures like these green dwarfs became anxious, their thoughts were in chaos. Even Wei Xiaobei may not necessarily be able to guess what their next action would be. The machete landed on the grass field as Zhu Xine missed the green dwarf that she was planning to kill. She had deviated her aim by about 20 centimeters and cut another green dwarf's thigh. Blood spluttered out, spraying Zhu Xine's pants and legs with fresh blood. Zhu Xine was not that anxious anymore. She pulled out the machete and chopped down once again. This time she did not miss and chopped off the head of the green dwarf. Ah! Zhu Xine let out an ear-piercing scream. Her terror immediately reached its peak when she saw the head of the green dwarf that she personally killed rolling off onto the grass. Wei Xiaobei immediately charged forward. However, what he never expected was that even if Zhu Xine screamed, she did not stop moving her hands at all. The machete immediately chopped toward a green dwarf that had thrown itself at her. Seeing this, Wei Xiaobei immediately stopped. He only locked his eyes on Zhu Xine's sides while holding the chopsticks, preparing to rescue her at any times. Zhu Xine seemed to have gone crazy at the moment. She immediately chopped another green dwarf to death, and then without turning a blind eye, she chased after another green dwarf. After killing 5 green dwarfs, Zhu Xine seemed to have become exhausted from her crazed state. Her body swayed, and she dropped the machete on the grass. Wei Xiaobei quickly rushed forward and caught her with his left hand, ignoring the feminine scent rising to his face. His right hand picked up the machete and held it in his hand. On the other hand, the green dwarfs that ran when Zhu Xine went crazy felt that their opportunity had arrived. Countless cries sounded from the crowd of green dwarfs. The green dwarfs' eyes seemed to have been filled with madness, and they threw themselves at Wei Xiaobei. Wei Xiaobei sensed that something was wrong with the green dwarfs, but he did not have the chance to check on the situation at the moment. He immediately swung his machete and killed the green dwarfs at the front. The green dwarfs whose numbers had reached 800 strong surrounded Wei Xiaobei in a semicircle and began attacking from all sides. Their stench was so disgusting that it could make a person faint. As they dauntlessly advanced, they appeared like zombies that did not fear death. They strove to advance and attacked Wei Xiaobei when they came closer. Without a doubt, their goal was to push Wei Xiaobei to the edge of the hole and then push him in. Wei Xiaobei did not think about it anymore. He carried Zhu Xine on one of his shoulder and threw a handful of chopsticks at the green dwarfs. A handful of these chopsticks contained 20 sticks. With his level of concealed weapons, killing a green dwarf with each chopstick was an impossible task. However, there were too many green dwarfs, so the chopsticks were at least able to hit the green dwarfs with 100% accuracy. Naturally, because the accuracy was not taken into consideration, there were cases of 2 to 3 chopsticks hitting a single green dwarf. No matter what was said, as long as a chopstick hit a target, it was enough to cause fatal damage, making the green dwarfs agonize for their deaths. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this time, Wei Xiaobei did not hold back anymore. With a stride, he charged toward the direction of the food street. Wei Xiaobei gambled that the Mist Draconic Horse had already left the food district. Naturally, if he went to Chuehu University, he might be safe for a bit, but he needed to pass through the hole. In terms of time and distance, it was not worth it. Moreover, he was not sure of the situation of the zombies in Chuehu University. At present, only the food street was the closest. Moreover, even if the Mist Draconic Horse was blocking the way, Wei Xiaobei only needed to escape the green dwarf encirclement, move toward a ruined building, and pass through from there. This way he would not use up too much stamina. The machete in his right hand did not stop moving while his left hand kept throwing out chopsticks. However, even if he fought intensely like this, Zhu Xine, who was on his shoulder, did not fall down at all. It goes to show how great his balance was. After charging out 20 meters, Wei Xiaobei had ran out of chopsticks, but the number of green dwarfs that he had killed already exceeded 50. A trail of blood had formed behind Wei Xiaobei from the blood of the green dwarfs. However, even if he continued to massacre them, the green dwarfs did not shrink back in fear at all. They were like hungry dogs that had seen meat, like ants that had found a cube of sugar, or like a life-sentence prisoner that had once again touched a beautiful girl. They threw themselves at Wei Xiaobei and did not even bother dodging at all. They only strove their best to injure Wei Xiaobei with the weapons in their hands. The green dwarfs were too weak, so weak that a normal adult man would be able to deal with 5 to 6 of them. However, the green dwarfs in front of Wei Xiaobei had completely changed. It was like they had been brainwashed to become zombies. Facing these green dwarfs with their large numbers, Wei Xiaobei felt his head ache. However, no matter how much his head ached, he did not stop swinging the machete in his hand. At this time, Wei Xiaobei was gradually advancing in the path of the blade. Every time he swung the machete, his technique became faster, sharper, and easier. However, he was not aware of this at all. Every one of his actions had become a conditional reflex. As long as a green dwarf was pouncing at him, then his machete would immediately chop out, killing the enemy before it could reach him. At first, Wei Xiaobei was able to easily block the enemy. He could even seize their weapons and throw them away, making the green dwarfs suffer immense losses. Time gradually passed as the green dwarfs keep sending themselves to their deaths. Wei Xiaobei's right arm also began to feel sore, but he still kept swinging his machete. There were more than 800 green dwarfs surrounding him. Even if the green dwarfs were killed by Wei Xiaobei one by one, he needed to swing the machete more than 600 times. After all, not every swing was able to kill more than 2 green dwarfs. What's more, as the green dwarfs kept shouting, more green dwarfs quickly came from afar. In short, Wei Xiaobei began to feel that he was a human-shaped magnet, while the green dwarf were steel fragments. After killing the green dwarfs for a while, Wei Xiaobei could not help but switch the machete to his left hand and moved Zhu Xine to his right shoulder. At this moment, Wei Xiaobei needed to kill 3 to 4 green dwarfs with every step. Moreover, the green dwarfs also moved along with Wei Xiaobei, trapping him within their circle. Wei Xiaobei calculated that he had already moved by 100 meters and killed more than 250 green dwarfs. This had given him more than 2016 evolution points. However, it was impossible for Wei Xiaobei to spend his evolution points while in battle. It seems that if I don't pay some price, I won't be able to escape this encirclement. Thinking about this, Wei Xiaobei gritted his teeth and stamped his right foot on the ground. The ground ruptured as Wei Xiaobei sent himself forward. Elementary power burst. Iron Mountain lean. Every green dwarf that was blocking Wei Xiaobei had been violently sent flying. In reality, with the green dwarf's height, Wei Xiaobei would have tripped if he did not have his ground-rooting ability to keep his balance. The farthest distance of Iron Mountain lean was 3 to 15 meters. However, after using elementary power burst, Wei Xiaobei had charged forward by about 40 meters in a single breath. Then he jumped up by borrowing the momentum from his thighs, sending himself soaring to the sky like a bird. Naturally, he was not really flying but was performing an action close to gliding. The reason for this was also because of the height of the green dwarfs. If the green dwarfs were the same height as humans, Wei Xiaobei would only be able to jump a short distance. By relying on his strength and agility, Wei Xiaobei used his Iron Mountain lean to charge forward, jumped at the end of his charge, and glided forward in the sky, traversing close to 70 meters in one go. Just gliding in the sky had sent him 30 meters forward. Moreover, he was carrying a girl, and his own weight was also considerable. Without a doubt, using elementary power burst had increased Wei Xiaobei's strength by countless times compared to a normal human strength. The world record for long-distance jumping was 8.95 meters. The run that Wei Xiaobei performed was shorter than those in long jump events, yet he was able to reach a 30-meter distance. His position was now outside of the encirclement of the green dwarfs. When Wei Xiaobei just landed, he swung his machete to kill a nearby green dwarf. What surprised Wei Xiaobei was that after killing this green dwarf, the green dwarfs that were chasing behind him seemed to have woken up from a dream. The madness in their eyes had been replaced with terror as they ran away. The number of fleeing green dwarfs increased as if a domino effect had been triggered. They even brandished their weapons against their allies that were blocking the way. The collapse and internal strife of the green dwarfs was in full swing. Seeing this scene, Wei Xiaobei was stunned. What is going on? Could it be that something was controlling all of them? And now that I have escaped, the thing controlling them had given up. Why doesn't the thing controlling them attempt to control me? Could it be that there is a limit to the manipulation distance? Or the strength of their influence is lacking? Or maybe their control strength was at the limit. Various thoughts popped up in Wei Xiaobei's head, causing his head to hurt. At this time, a shuffling sound came from Zhu Xine's movements, and she immediately fell from Wei Xiaobei's shoulder. Wei Xiaobei was someone with the quick reaction ability. He immediately moved his hands forward and caught her, stopping her from hitting the ground and meeting misfortune. Although the height of her drop was not long, the human neck was fragile. In the worst-case scenario, she would have become paralyzed for life. Have you woken up? What happened to you previously? Wei Xiaobei had sensed this, so he placed her down. After she steadied herself, he immediately asked her a question. I also don't know what happened. When I had become so frightened, my mind suddenly dimmed, and I began killing. In the end, I don't know what happened. Zhu Xine rubbed her aching temples as she vaguely answered. Wei Xiaobei frowned. He originally planned to obtain some information about the puppet master behind this incident, but it seemed that it was impossible. Moreover, in his battle log, there was nothing but green dwarfs in them. Could this just be an accident? Wei Xiaobei could not find the answers, so he temporarily put the matters aside. Ah! At this time, Wei Xiaobei finally noticed the pain coming from below his knees. He frowned as he saw that the parts of the pants below his knees were tattered and drenched in blood. Zhu Xine, who finally came to her senses, also cried out in fear once she saw it. Wei Xiaobei pulled up his pants and saw that his knees were riddled with wounds. Thinking back, these injuries should have been caused by using his Iron Mountain lean at full strength against the green dwarfs. Wei Xiaobei had a strong vitality, but it did not mean that he was invulnerable. Although the injuries looked terrifying, they were only superficial wounds. With Wei Xiaobei's vitality, these wounds had already stopped bleeding and were quickly healing. The only things left behind were the bloodstains that looked slightly terrifying. I'm fine. Wei Xiaobei extended his hands and pulled Zhu Xine up next to him, who was about to help him treat the wounds. Then he passed the machete to her. Zhu Xine was baffled as she held on to the machete. Wei Xiaobei smiled, I am now injured, you don't want to protect me? Oh, right. Zhu Xine nodded seriously. Then she held the machete as she vigilantly looked at the fleeing green dwarfs that were also killing each other. Although the previous battle would make a normal girl scared to the point of crying and screaming, it had brought great benefits to Zhu Xine.